just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy, Austin Ward. My good buddy, Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
Good morning. Boy, we got a lot to unpack today and a lot to look forward to. A Just Friends edition of the program. Eric Reeser, Tyvis Powell, Ryan Baker till noon. Probably going to be interrupted around 11 as Ryan Day breaks down what he saw from day 4 of Ohio State's spring ball. We got, 10 more practices left to go before that spring showcase. You're going to have everyone in the NFL world in Columbus on Wednesday for Pro Day and an early glimpse at the Jeremiah Smith experience, because I would assume he'll be catching passes from Will Howard. That's one way to bump your draft stock, is at your Pro Day, perform everything and drop a deep ball or two to Jeremiah.
I don't think they. First of all, it's gonna be nice to see it, but Jeremiah is one of those guys who he doesn't necessarily. He can do the Marvin Harrison where he don't necessarily need to work out. Like you could just you could press play and okay. Yeah.
The tape's gonna do a lot for him.
Yeah,
but just in terms of having somebody and Emeka will be there as well, and they'll have plenty of. They have plenty of talent.
I think the objective is they want Will to look as good as possible.
Right.
Obviously, if you've seen him throw at the combine, that's the thing that's in a lot of people's mind is how he was overthrowing, maybe missed a bunch of throws and all those things. And I think for him going into this, he has to show all right, yes, those were guys that I'd never thrown to in my life, And now you put me with guys that I have chemistry with, that I've worked with for over a couple of years. Or not even a couple of years, just a year, and you can see exactly how well I can be with making these throws. And so it's really about just making sure that Will looks the part.
And I think having Jeremiah Smith will help.
Well, you just put it in the area for him.
Well, Jeremiah down there.
He's down there somewhere.
Look, as much as we've waxed about his leadership, and I'll use the intangibles in air quotes thing. I don't know if it needed air quotes, but are we expecting him to go out and be QB 1 of 32?
No.
But with the money that has been given to subpar quarterback play in the league, like Jameis Winston's going to start games for the New York Giants this season. Well, Kenny Pickett's going to start games for the Cleveland Browns this season.
It's not a foregone conclusion.
No, that's the NFL Network says despite Jameis signing with Big Blue, they're still alive in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes.
Yeah.
So it looks like there are 3 teams, I think, that are still available for his services or that still for some reason have interest in that. But my point being, if that kind of money, the Justin Fields getting $30 million, you're paying.
Good for him. Go Bucs.
I agree. Good money for okay quarterback play. Why can't Will do something for an NFL team on a roster?
I think that Will Howard, to me, is one of those guys that you're going to look at his tape and you're going to look at the development he made in just 1 year. And honestly, whatever team takes him, what should give you hope is you got to look at that quarterback coach that you have and be like, all right, it's time for you to earn your money. If you are as good as we think you are, you should be able to take this kid because you watched him go from at Kansas State. He's on record even saying he didn't get the coaching that he got at Ohio State. So you've seen his Kansas State film. Then you watched him from game 1 to the national championship and watched this growth of a quarterback. If you're a quarterback coach in the NFL, and you're good, you should be able to be like, I can work with that. I can make that guy be our guy. And on top of that, obviously, I don't think he's going that very high in the draft. He might go third, somewhere between third and 5 or something like that. If that's the case, that's a steal because now we got a guy that's a talented guy that if we work with I'm not saying he's going to come right in the league and just blow it away his first year. That's not going to be the case. He definitely will do some good by sitting a year and learning the game and, adjusting to the speed of NFL football. But like, that's a guy that can make all those throws that's gotten better day after day. And that's what you want in your quarterback. That's a franchise quarterback, a guy that continues to get better.
Franchise is a little much right now.
Yeah, not right now.
You already know the extreme arrogance of some of these quarterback coaches in the league because they've taken some of these quarterbacks, even some that I've mentioned, and go, yeah, he was a problem there, but I can make him work.
Yes.
I can fix that.
Oh,
that's rampant throughout the National Football League.
Yep.
So no doubt, even with, Jackson Dart, even with Jalen Milroe, even with some of those guys, the Dylan Gabriel, you look at like, I don't know if that's an NFL quarterback.
Well,
somebody or some buddies are going to be like, I can make that work.
The Jalen Milroe one is the one that's the most it's the
fascinating.
It's the high risk, high reward, because if you are a good quarterback coach and you can fix, because the thing is, he does the toughest throw to make in the NFL is the thing that he's the best at. And that's a deep ball. He could throw the best deep ball out of everybody. And he's smart. They say he's won the academic quarterback Heisman. That's what the award that he basically won. If you ask him to draw up things and explain things.
Oh, he'll do well in
he
Gruden's
does well
thing.
at that.
Yeah.
So
marker and whiteboard.
He's a smart guy. It's just he needs more touch on his ball. His footwork has to be better, and he's got to be better with the short and intermediate. He's from me to you, he throws the ball like cardio. He's and it's like, hey, you got to take some off. Like, that's where he is. So if you can work on his touch and his accuracy, you will have something, because this is a freakish athlete that you'll have at quarterback that runs 4.3, anywhere from 4.37 to 4.46, whatever that is.
So a lot of football minds will be in Columbus Wednesday. We know there's a lot of football Mensa men in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. Again, Ryan Day around 11 o'clock this morning. I told Fish that hope's not a great strategy. I hope we can bring you not only Ryan Day, but also defensive coordinator Matt Patricia sometime in the 11 o'clock hour. We're going to try to see how good our dancing will be for that. We will bring you Ryan Day. Matt Patricia is very much a little thing called You'll See. There was, before 3 o'clock yesterday, out of 24 million brackets for ESPN, one perfect remaining. And then Illinois lost to Kentucky 85-74. And now there are no more perfect brackets. I don't want to say it was disappointing, the first two rounds of the badness, but when you look at the Sweet 16 and the lowest seeds 10, and that's Arkansas.
It's about,
but Arkansas is led by John
madness.
Yeah.
Arkansas is led by John Calipari and basically Kentucky from last year. Yeah. You're wanting for more.
Yeah.
But there were some moments, I think, that gave you.
The first round gave you some madness.
McNeese, Colorado State.
Yes.
Oh, so close.
To our point, was close. Was right there.
I was going to have to get a Rams shirt if they won last night.
Derek Queen traveled, right?
No. I don't think he did. This is the thing that people got to remember. So in basketball, when you dribble and then you pick up and you take that step.
Okay, LeBron, crab walked.
That don't count. Like that, if you dribble and then pick up, like that first step really don't count. So it's really a two-step.
He traveled.
By definition of traveling, he traveled.
He did not travel.
I'm okay that
you can't call it in that moment.
So I agree with you there. I'm okay that they didn't call it in that moment. Because the Rams make a 3-ball, their bench is already celebrating. Maryland brings it down the court. Derek Queen says, I'm going to paraphrase Kevin Willard, give me the MF ball.
Yes, he did.
Well, don't mess it up then. And he made, that shot, not a high percentage shot, I would say.
It was not.
Maybe for him? Because he's lanky?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It went in. That's
all that matters.
Yes.
And they didn't go to review. They didn't look at and see if it needed anything.
It wasn't I'm not calling that.
They advanced the Terrapins to the Sweet 16 the first time, I think, for them since like 2016. So you got the Big Ten's got 4 teams on to the third round this weekend. The SEC, 7 of 14 teams. So you get chalk for most of it. And I think you have those kinds of big brands, because a lot of times with the NCAA tournament, like, you have the madness and you have some of the magic that Cinderella provides in the first 2 rounds, and then you want brands.
Yes.
Well, you've got that.
Yeah.
Right? You've got Michigan State advancing. You've got Alabama in. You've got Houston and Purdue. Florida and Maryland, the aforementioned Terrapins, that has the potential to be a great matchup.
Yeah.
One of the hottest teams in the country. They got by UConn, who defending national champions.
For a while out of that game,
Dan Hurley blowing his top afterwards.
I thought UConn was gonna have them. I was watching that and I said, it's a bunch of brackets. It's about to get busted if UConn wins this game.
And doesn't it feel like every year there's that team that is a high seed that's a favorite in the tournament, one of the favorites?
They get knocked off.
No, but they have a game like that where they survive the scare, and then it's like, here we go.
Well,
You
expect Florida to just run the table.
I kind of expect that out of Florida now, too. Okay, they had their scare. Like, if they go out and they beat Maryland by 20, now I know that would be tough to do because this Maryland team is real talented. But if they go out and they beat them by 20, like, I wouldn't be surprised.
Is your champion still good?
Yes, because my champion before this was Florida.
Oh, but he would have been sick. He would have been sick.
My champion was St. John's.
Really?
They fall to Arkansas.
You picked St. John's to win.
What I did was I had my Final Four first.
Yeah.
And then I just filled in the rest of the bracket.
Okay.
I had a bad boy gimmick for the Final Four teams. I had Auburn, St. John's. So you had Bruce Pearl, Rick Pitino, Alabama, and Nate Oates, and then McNeese and Will Wade. All in the last 10 years.
Final Four?
Because, again, my Final Four gimmick was Will Wade had gotten into, we'll call it hot water. You know, he had that strong-ass offer that the FBI caught him on a wiretap.
Yes.
Actually, the new NC State head coach, Will Wade.
Yes.
And so I had those four because I thought that'd be hilarious if those four were to be the Final Four coaches. And then I just kind of filled it in from there.
I think my champion is I picked Tennessee.
Here's how it did for Eric in our fan bracket challenge. I'm bracket number 1,315. So leading the way of fan talent is Jacob Reimer.
Of course he is.
Who's got the Florida Gators. He's 199th.
Where's Tim?
Timmy Hall, I have to do a lot of scrolling to find Timmy's. Panama Ted's behind Reimer at 221. Jen Winters at 240. Bo filled out a couple of brackets, so if I've given heat to Rothman over the years for filling out multiple brackets, I've got to give the same to Bo.
I noticed that Bo had two in there.
Just do one, man. We have our show bracket, but it is the 2,297th best bracket amongst our fan and 10 TV bracket challenge.
Thank you, Colorado State. You could have really helped us last night.
Would have really helped.
Actually, I'm not doing the St. John's thing really messed me up.
Sure. Messed up a lot of people.
But my Final Four is still intact.
And this was one I think if you had just filled out with the seeding, again, with Arkansas being your 10 seed, the lowest remaining of the teams, I do think people said, well, John Calipari's leading that squad. There's some magic there. I don't know if the Calipari family can handle any more close games. Because it feels like the camera, like as much as you heard Lady Gaga over the weekend, you saw shots of Mrs. Calipari and I think their daughter of just apoplectic at close moments. Also something caught on camera yesterday that I don't know we could put too much into outside of the fire of competition. But after the Ohio State women's basketball squad was dismissed, an 82-67 loss to Tennessee, brutal fourth quarter for the Buckeyes. Cody McMahon didn't shake the Tennessee coach's hand. And if you're a mouth reader out there, had an expletive, at least it looked like that for the game. I don't want to put too much on that, not knowing exactly the discussions had before that. But if you're on camera and it's an ESPN game, you'd like to hope that there's the wherewithal to be like, all right, let's be as cordial as possible while you're out on that court.
Yeah, there's a fine line between competitive spirit and that there. And again, who knows exactly what was said. It did seem in the moment I was watching it live, I was like, ooh, this is not a good look.
It is not. I'm looking at it right now. It is not as bad as y'all make it.
It's not terrible, but
she slapped it, but she missed the hand, and then she yelled.
But she was talking the whole way down the line. She was mouthing something to every player on that team.
Well, we
just hope in those situations you would just.
Cody's a very passionate player. We like that, and
the fine line.
I said it's a fine line.
Emotions definitely is riled up in a situation where you feel like you should be going further than what you are, and it's a lot of frustration. So I get it.
With all of that, the portal's open today. for men's and women's college basketball. We'll discuss that and some coaching changes that are going to be on the move. It's a busy show for you. We've got Austin Ward coming up at 10:30. We'll do some Shelley time at 9:44. We're going to have to make way in the 11 o'clock hour so that we can give you all of the Ryan Day that you could possibly handle. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where our erectile dysfunction treatments are shown to be effective in nearly 90% of cases. Listen to what Alex has to say about our ED treatments.
I have been experiencing problems with ED, but that's all changed. My name's Alex, and I've been a patient for Tri-State Men's Health for under a year. I highly recommend this. Every day I wake up feeling good compared to I was back in the old days. It change is more exciting. You know, I don't have a problem with ED anymore. I'm having a lot more fun. I was very comfortable. I was always comfortable in any conversation I had with Tri-State Men's Health. Yeah, I just want to let gentlemen out there know that you do not have to live with ED, that it is not just an aging process. It is also hormonal and balance and everything in your system. And once you get that under control and everything, you do go back to your youth a lot in how you feel.
Thanks, Alex. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Choose Logan Services for savings up to $2,000 on a qualifying train system and 0% APR financing for 60 months. It's hard to stop a train. Estimates are free and installation takes just 1 day. Logan Services.
We're Raising Cane's with the man that started it all.
Wait, are you the Yes Chef guy?
We got chicken fingers, crinkle cut fries, Texas toast, and their world famous cane sauce. Could shed a tear right now.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Hey, Ohio State fans. While others cut corners, you know, like that team up north, Valvoline Instant Oil Change is Buckeye-level quality. We train hard and treat every day like game day. We're always quick, but never rushed. And you can stay in your car while our experts do the work. Valvoline Instant Oil Change is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Visit valvoline.com/Buckeyes to find your nearest location and access exclusive fan savings.
Scott the Scots here. How did the grass feel when it woke up from winter? A little crabby. Get it? Crabgrass? Right now, there's a short window of time to apply Scott's Turf Builder Halt's Crabgrass Preventer. It stops crabgrass before it invades and feeds your lawn for a fast green up after winter. Act now to prevent your grass from waking up crabby this spring. That joke never gets old. But trust me, crabgrass does.
Get a bag of Scott's Turf Builder Halt's Crabgrass Preventer with lawn food today.
Feed your lawn. Feed it.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Columbus Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Join now.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Do you want a job that is flexible, secure, and fun? It also offers excellent pay and is ranked as one of the best jobs in America, too. I'm talking about being a dental hygienist. And all you have to do is complete a 2-year program after high school. Visit ODA.org to learn more and to start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A sunny day today. The trade-off, though, it's about to get super windy out here. looking at some of the forecast models here, I'm thinking winds could be as high as 40, maybe 45 miles per hour. So hang on to your hats. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 36. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
If you're starting your day any other way, you're doing it wrong. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan. With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
It was a bad job out of me this morning talking to Maddie Andrews, who's understandably disappointed after Ohio State's dismissal from the second round of the NCAA tournament. Tennessee Lady Volunteers came into the shot and did what Ohio State does to most teams in the second half. Like, that was a brutal fourth quarter, but that's the way Tennessee drew it up.
The third quarter was just so inspiring.
Yeah.
You know, they turned the tide. What was it, a 17-point deficit that they came back from? So you thought at that moment, okay, they got the momentum going into the fourth. And yeah.
16-8, the Lady Vols outscored the Buckeyes in that final frame. Again, 82-67, the final score. Second straight year, the Buckeyes are dismissed from the second round, and disappointment's the name of the game. And there's only one team that ever leaves these tournaments happy.
Yeah.
So you got 67 others that are like, damn it. But I'd wondered, watching that game, was like, is there Lauren Betts in the portal this year? Maybe Ohio State could go after, because
that's
that kind of size and productivity Ohio State could really use, and maybe they've got that on their team. Kevin McGuff needs to develop. But Betts, I think, had like 30 points in their second round win for UCLA. Like,
she's 6'7" though.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Transfer portal's open today, so everybody can go shopping.
Yeah. I mean, I'll continue to say, if you've watched this team over the past couple of years, like, that to me is the one thing that they're missing. You know, Rebecca was great, but, you know, she had size, but she was a shooter. You know, she wasn't really in the paint like that. And Cody does a great job finishing, but she's not the tallest woman either. You know, you missing that one person that you can get the ball to in the paint, maybe do a post move or two, drop step or something like that, and be able to finish at the cup, or, you know, that got some size. And we just don't have that right now. It seems like all the ones that we have really can shoot, but that's it. And that's the one thing that if I'm this women's team, I would be in the portal looking for, you know, just a big woman that can come out here and be 6'7" and be nice in the paint.
Kind of a similar need for Ohio State men as well. You need a big.
Yeah.
Because
it's hard to get.
It is. Austin Parks put his name, or at least declared, for the transfer portal, which is now a thing in this era. You don't know exactly what's going to happen with Aaron Bradshaw. I think there were legitimate roster questions that Jake Diebler faced and had to answer for, or is in the process of answering for, and that's the biggest reason Ohio State's not participating in the college basketball crown. That starts on March 31st, which probably a bad job by Fox to do that then.
Yeah, I mean, people are pretty basketballed out by then.
Well, then and rosters, like, who knows with Nebraska and USC what kind of roster they're going to look like. What both of those teams are really. I mean, DePaul's in this, Butler's in this. Like, those rosters, there's potential for them to get rated. And I'm not saying exactly those two.
I mean, it is a chance for you to get some of those new guys and get them in competition, maybe, see what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules would be, because it's not an NCAA event, so it does factor to, if you bring in a portal person, you say, hey, can you meet us in Vegas?
Hey, yeah.
Why not?
It won't be no chemistry there, but at least you
can start to build it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's really what it's about. Anyways, it's about next year.
Yep.
Like, anytime you take an NIT or you take this crown, you're thinking about next year. I'm building for next year. And it's just giving my guys more reps to work together to build chemistry so we can hit the ground running next year. That's all it is. Now, you get a couple dollars if you win the crown, though. So it makes it a little more serious.
So there's the incentive for a portal person, because, you know, Xavier players can obviously pop in the portal. Sean Miller's going to Texas, so Longhorns players have probably had a couple days after it was announced, after the first four, or at least it was reported after their first four loss, that Texas was going to part ways with Rodney Terry, and so players were going to be available. When Iowa dismissed Fran McCaffrey after the Big Ten tournament, players had 30 days from it being official to go into the transfer portal. You've got Indiana's getting their new head coach from West Virginia, so I think it's Is it Darian DeVries? DeVries is bringing his son Tucker likely to Indiana. Will Wade's going to NC State. There's scuttlebutt this morning about Richard Pitino, the favorite to land the open Villanova job. But I think if you're Villanova, you kind of wait for Kevin Willard, who we'll get to later in the program. But
I thought they was taking the coach from UCLA.
Why am I'm blanking on his name? Why am I
Mick Cronin?
Mick Cronin
yeah.
to Villanova?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything like that, but
Tim had brought that up. And I was like, yeah.
I think it's similar if you're reading tea leaves. Maybe you're thinking Cronin's not the happiest in Westwood. If you're reading tea leaves about
players is soft.
Willard, he's not the happiest at College Park because their athletic director just jumped ship. But we'll have some comments for Willard. But they're on to the Sweet 16, one of 4 Big Ten teams that's going to be making the jump. I'm trying to see. We've got tip times for those games this coming weekend. So Maryland taking on Florida and San Francisco. That'll be Thursday at 7:30. Other Big Ten teams in action. I always forget Oregon's in the Big Ten.
Yeah, they lost.
Yes.
They lost to Arizona.
The Wildcats are playing Duke.
Love had a great game.
He did for the Wildcats. We're playing Duke at 9:30. That'll be on Thursday. So you have Thursday and Friday Sweet 16 matchups there. Baker, you had a pretty busy weekend covering the OHSAA Boys Basketball State Championships. I guess congratulations goes out to a pair of Central Ohio teams in the Olentangy Orange and Westerville North. The Warriors' second basketball state title in school history, and I think the first for the Orange.
Yes, correct. Both of those first time. Almost got a third with Columbus Academy. They played real well. Came up just short to a very good Lutheran East team who won their third state championship in a row. But Central Ohio well represented. And in fact, Orange and Westerville North probably the least competitive games of the weekend. Westerville North just took it to Massillon Perry, who... It was a fun story, but they were 14-13 coming into this, 9-13 when they started their playoff run. And Westerville North's pressure was just relentless and took over the game from the very beginning. And then Olentangy Orange, Reynoldsburg is a solid team. They've got some great athletes. A couple kids going to OU on that team, and Jordan
Bobcats.
Fisher had a great game for them. But the team element maybe wasn't there as much for Reynoldsburg as it was for Olentangy Orange, and Olentangy Orange got contributions from a lot of people. Their main player, Devin Brown, who is going to Davidson, really didn't have that great of a game. 6 points and 6 rebounds, but they didn't need him because they played really well everywhere else.
Is that what's the guy that you were so excited to see your favorite player?
Who was that? From what team? Do you remember?
I can't remember. Was it TJ?
TJ Crumble of Lutheran East.
Yes.
He had a good game, 14 points, 10 rebounds in that game for Lutheran East. I was really impressed, though, with a couple players in the tournament, but one here locally was Jason Singleton Jr. He's just a junior for Columbus Academy. He had 27 points and I think 9 rebounds. His stroke is really pure. Like
Tyvus Papa Shot?
No, not even close. I mean, that's
no shot purer than Papa Shot Tyvus.
Don't disrespect him like that. But you can see a lot of these guys when they're like warming up and they're open, they'll hit shots. Singleton's shots weren't hitting the rim.
Oh.
I mean, his stroke is really pure. He's a guard, like a wing. He's 6'4", 6'5", and if you remember, his dad played for Ohio State. If his dad would have had that shot, his dad would have been an NBA All-Star because his dad could play defense and rebound, do everything else.
That's the difference in today's game. If it don't matter if you play the 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, you got to be able to shoot. Like that's you cannot make it if you can't shoot.
Good showing though at the state basketball tournaments from Central Ohio this year.
Week 2 for the football Buckeyes. It's begun. We'll hear from Ryan Day at 11 o'clock this morning. We'll have some other tidbits from spring ball for you coming up in 2 minutes. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text GRIT to 42424 4424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text GRIT to 42424. That's GRIT to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations, Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
What's up on a Monday? The Buckeyes are headed to Washington. CBS Sports had the reporting over the weekend that April 14th, Mr. Day will meet Mr. President. Trump administration is going to honor Ohio State for their 2024 national championship. They're going to get the full tour of the place, maybe take some pictures, some cell phone pics with pictures of presidents, like my friend and co-host Tyvis Powell did when he went with the Buckeyes back in 2014.
Good times.
Who was it with you taking a picture with W?
Me and Duran Grant. Thumbs up. We took a picture with him, and we took a picture with Bill Clinton.
His portrait,
yes, not him physically.
Not him physically.
And then all the DBs, we took a picture in front of Abraham Lincoln's portrait.
What was the coolest part for you of the trip to the White House?
The coolest part was they put us in this room, and they said that the president is going to be in, and he's going to shake everybody's hand. But they was like, you cannot record it for security reasons.
Sure.
You can't record.
Did they take your, they didn't take, obviously they didn't take your phones.
No.
It's not like Jeter's house. You got to drop it in the basket.
Here's the bag.
It might be like that now. But no, it was cool to get in the room and then have, at that time it was Obama. Obama came around and he shook everybody's hand, and it was he said some things about players that he kind of knew about, and it was just kind of cool to be like, wow, you actually, either somebody prepped you well or you actually been paying attention.
Probably a bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
I'm sure he watched the run for the national championship.
Well, I mean, isn't he an Illinois guy?
I believe so, but
yes.
But he's not going to not watch.
I mean, it
the
was
college football playoff,
the
inaugural four-teamer.
At that point, it was one of the top stories in sport.
Yeah,
to have a third-string quarterback come in and
the legend, as they say.
I wouldn't call him that.
Well, some would.
He played subpar. A subpar.
Say he was a game manager.
Yep.
In those games against Wisconsin and Alabama.
Oh, Tyvis, you're saying it's a lot easier when you got a back running for 200 yards every game, right?
Or a defense that's,
No, we're not. No, it was Zeke, right?
Wow. Well, we know, the current administration, President Trump's a college football fan, and obviously J.D. Vance being an alum of the Ohio State University.
No, he should have.
They should be well informed of who this team is and who some of the dudes are on this squad.
J.D. Vance will probably be in there before Trump. Get out the way. This is my guys.
So it's an exciting experience for the football team. Just to be invited to meet the president, invited to be honored for what was a historic run to the first ever 12-team college football playoff national championship. I think later in the month of April, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to get their day at the White House. They're going to be honored by the administration. That's 2 days after the spring showcase and then 2 days before the transfer portal opens. So 12th, the spring game. April 16th, the transfer portal. So a pretty busy week, to say the least, for Ryan Day and company. You'll hear from Ohio State's head coach this morning around 11 o'clock. We'll be carrying his comments live on the Fan. Then Brian Hartline's going to speak. Matt Patricia's going to speak. My goal for the morning is to be able to do enough dancing and fulfill commercial obligations so that we can bring you Ryan Day and we can bring you enough of Matt Patricia, because I'm extremely interested to hear, after 1 week of practice, what Patricia thinks of the ingredients he has on defense and how it's going to mesh with not necessarily his overhaul, but when he adds what he would like to do for this Ohio State defense.
Yeah, I think for him, the biggest challenge is developing that pass rush.
Yeah.
I think the secondary, you got Caleb Downs back there. You got Jermaine Matthews. You got IGB. You got guys that's played ball. Sonny Styles at linebacker. Arvell Reese, you feel really comfortable about. The biggest question mark is pass rush. And the thing about the pass rush is that why this defense looks so well in those 4 games is because you saw that come to life. You saw those guys get pressure on the quarterback.
It was a nightmare for those 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if a DB slips and falls in the secondary, but yet your pass rush gets home, it doesn't matter. So it can solve a lot of worries if you have a good pass rusher that can stop the run and get to the quarterback. So I think for him, that's probably, objective 1 is to find premier pass rushers, find patterns, because when you think about last year, before they played, I think it was Nebraska. After the Nebraska game is when they really started changing things, because they were just straight rushing. And after that game, they started doing twists and stunts and things like that, and it allowed guys to get home. Guys would go inside, a guy come wrap around, and it would throw offensive line off. And that's how they were getting pressure. And that's the type of things that you need to establish in this spring. What is these guys good at? What can they handle? Who can I send on blitzes? Those type of things.
Because from Day, you'll get, the view from 30,000 feet. You'll get the view from the C-suite. You'll get probably thoughts on the quarterback. There's not going to give you much on the pecking order, but just how have these guys looked? It's only been a week. They've only had 3 practices. This morning's practice number 4. Did anything stand out? Did anybody show out from a quarterback perspective? But for Patricia, it's like, so what do you think? You had 3 days to kind of test drive your players actually on the field in football situations. Now 4 days after the practice concludes this morning. But what are your thoughts? This week, you're also going to hear from James Laurinaitis and some linebackers on Thursday. So, again, Larry Johnson's going to talk with some defensive linemen tomorrow. So, for me, outside of the quarterback position, because that's always going to be the first topic of discussion whenever it comes to Ohio State, and especially this season with a defense of your national championship. Oh, and yeah, a Texas game at noon on August 30th. What's this defense going to be looking like?
Yet. It's not in stone.
It's not in stone, but boy, are they getting the chisel out.
No.
Getting ready to carve that bad boy into the schedule.
It just don't sit right with me.
It doesn't, and I'm not saying it should, because it should absolutely be a night game.
Will you be there?
I'd like to be, but I think I'd have other obligations on the Fan, so I'm just watching it on TV. So I think because I'm going to do the post-game show.
It will depend. I might have to host a show with Reese that day.
What is going on around
Will
here?
you be there?
It depends.
Okay.
I might have
it's not even April, and we're talking.
I mean, where else is the Big Ten going to be that day? The Big Ten Network.
Funny that you say that.
I was just about to look and see what you would.
They love to go to Purdue first. I don't know what that's about.
Reporting from last week has Ohio State and Texas as a Fox production. So if Fox has this,
we ain't going.
It's likely a big noon kick. But Fox and the Big Ten Network are married, so where would that put?
They ain't going.
It could put you here.
Nope.
In Columbus.
Let's see. I'm gonna tell you where we're gonna probably be.
If you're not here, they're wrong.
Well, UCLA's got Utah that day.
They're going to put us at Purdue against Ball State. I'm telling you. Or UCLA versus Utah. I take that.
That'd be pretty good. You'd be out in L.A.
Start off
where UCLA's located.
We're in L.A. Yeah.
We're in L.A.
That could be you. Where'd you start off this past season?
Purdue.
Oh, boy.
Guess where I started off the year before that?
Oh, is it Purdue?
Purdue.
West Lafayette.
Is
it because the Big Ten Network has to search or has to at least be at every campus?
They try to.
And so they get West Lafayette out of the way when it's somewhat decent weather.
With there being only 12 weeks and really 11, they only really go 11 weeks of the show.
Yeah.
You're not going to get to it's 18 teams in the conference.
Oh, here's the Bo Bishop special. Week 1 could be Oregon hosts Montana State. You go to Eugene for that.
Last time I was in Eugene, I was late on my flight coming back. So,
when you do you do your travel for the Big Ten Network? Do you book it?
I do book my
and then
well, I send it. I say I pick the flight and I tell them to book it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do for like a layover? Because having flown out to Oregon this past summer, you're obviously not getting a direct flight to Portland or Corvallis.
I went to Denver, then to Eugene.
What do you usually do for a layover? Like, how do you have a time set in mind? Or you
try to make it as short as possible.
Man, that's bold.
Yeah, and that's what I learned when I missed my.
I do 90 minutes usually.
90 minutes? What are you, scared?
I am. I'm terrified because my little legs might not make it from terminal to terminal in a 30-minute layover.
It depends
You've
on
got to give me an hour.
It depends on the airport.
Denver.
Bigger. Yeah, Denver. That's why I missed it. I found out how big Denver's airport was as I got off of that plane, and I'm rolling, bigger. I got my bag and everything. I'm rolling with the bag. You get one of them roller suitcases. I picked it up. That's how you know I was moving. And I'm just running, and I just ran out of gas. I'm just like, man, I ain't there yet.
Did you do your 15 on the Peloton before you got?
I wish I did.
Yeah, it warmed you up.
Then I had to get to a train. You know how you got to take a train?
That's what I'm saying.
Once that happened, I said, I'm not making it. It's done.
If it's a big enough airport, you know you got to get either on a tram or you've got to do a long walk to get from one terminal to the other. So I'm always like, give me an hour. Or give me 90 minutes.
Yeah, so no, this is what I'm gonna do. Now I'm not.
You can't run walk.
I'm not. If I go to Oregon again this year, I'm not going into Eugene. I'm going into Portland.
Okay,
and then driving.
It's not a bad flight, but you will have the connector. So just letting you know.
I know now.
In advance.
90 minutes.
One man who's done his fair share of traveling on the East Coast is Jody Shelley. Blue Jackets. If Friday wasn't a must-win, I guess I'll call this a must-win. But reinforcements coming for the CBJ. We'll do a little bit of Shelley time in advance of their game against the Islanders coming up next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey guys, it's Anthony Rothman. Let's talk about feeling your best. If you don't feel that same energy, strength, maybe you're feeling moody or it seems you've lost your drive with your partner, it could be low testosterone. You have to go see the true experts at Low T Center. Getting tested is fast and easy. I learned all about the personalized therapy at Low T Center and the results you can expect with customized TRT. So don't put it off any longer. Go to lowtcenter.com and book that appointment. lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.
Call Mr. Rooter. He'll be there quick.
Breaking news. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is caught up in the madness, and he's passing it to you for a slam dunk of deals. He's got rates as low as 0%, leases starting from $249 a month. How about a 2025 Honda Prologue all-wheel drive Elite? Lease it for $297 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $19.99 down. And he's even throwing you an extra $1,000 for your trade. More than 500 new and pre-owned to choose from. See dealer for details at Germain Honda of Dublin.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, three-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time National Football Champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining LifeSearch to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to LifeSearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. LifeSearch featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit LifeSearch.com today.
Anthony Rothman here for Tel Ohio. Tel Ohio Credit Union has been financing dreams and fueling the local economy for 90 years. And as the #1 SBA lender among Ohio credit unions, learn why more than 3,000 business owners trust Tel Ohio. Visit telohio.org/business.
Common Man and T-Bone.
It's like in My 600-Pound Life. Like, they don't even know what they're looking at half the time. They just put the pixels up there just to keep themselves safe. Is it a fat roll? Is it a wiener? I don't know.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Tuning into your favorite team's game or actually going to the stadium is better when you feel at your best. If something's not quite right, reduce tension and pain and increase flexibility with expert assisted stretching at Stretch Lab. Each session is customized to your body's needs with your unique goals in mind. Visit your local Stretch Lab today or go to stretchlab.com to get up to 50% off your first 50-minute stretch. Plus, get an additional $10 off with code FAN10. That's code FAN10 at stretchlab.com.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. How is it sharp? How is it electric? Good questions. Try this on for size. 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime, forcing, playoffs on the line, golf. With 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter, LA, New York, and the Bay. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. Tune in every week for TGL matches, only on ESPN. Keep up. It's golf.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
The Gloves. Shelly time.
Sponsored by Visit Central Florida. Discover the real Florida magic at visitcentralflorida.com.
We go out now to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline and find a man who's been all over the eastern seaboard this past weekend and tonight doing some advanced scouting of the Jackets' next opponent, the Vancouver Canucks. Jody, you're in New Jersey. I asked Tyvis this question when he works for the Big Ten Network, if when he's booking his travel, what's his layover time look like? And I said about 90 minutes for me as a personal aside.
It's ridiculous.
What do you do for your layovers when you have like a large airport that you're like, I don't know if I can make that terminal change in 30 minutes?
Oh, I do it as tight as I possibly can.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about.
No problem.
Yes.
No, you just get off and you go, and they'll wait for you sometimes. And if you miss it, you know what? You catch the next one. But the key is you got to go to big hubs because then there's more flights getting out. But I love it tight. 12, 15 minutes, I'm in.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I can't do it. You're a bigger man than I, Jody. With the Blue Jackets tonight taking on the Islanders in New York, is there anything, we had talked after their game against the Florida Panthers, and I guess I'll ask a similar question following that loss in Pittsburgh. Like, the discussions in the locker room or what, knowing what you have coming on Monday?
Yeah, now they're getting Monahan back in the lineup. All the discussions are over. These guys are looking at each other thinking, all right, there's only one way to cure this, and that's get a win. And tonight they just got to find a way to get it done against a team that's right with them in the standings. So, it's kind of that time. Metropolitan Division game. They got the Canucks on Friday. The Canucks are playing well. All they have to do is win tonight. And then just kind of sit back and try to feel good and move on to the next one because I think the discussions are over.
Jody, the last time we talked to you on Friday, we were going back and forth about who was going to be in the net, and obviously they settled on Elvis being in there. Coming off of the great game that he had, obviously he gave up 6 goals. Do you think it was the right call putting him in there, or should they went with somebody else?
Well, they could have went with Jet, but I think the circumstances were Tarasov was supposed to play. He wasn't feeling well, so they went back to Elvis. I think they made the right call. It was kind of panic and a little bit of out of sorts for the Blue Jackets in front of Elvis. Let's say out of all those goals, maybe he gave up one that someone else would have stopped or you still only scored 3 goals. So for me, the Blue Jackets, defensively as a team, they look off. I can't just look at the goaltending. You'd love for a goaltender to come in tonight and steal a game. And whatever it takes tonight to get it done has to get done. But I think they made the right call with Elvis there the other night. I think he played well enough to get the win.
Jody, Monahan, and Goodbranson both back into the lineup. That kind of helps even things out in the lineup, especially on defense, because now you're going to have lefty-righty on each pair. How important do you think that is?
Well, that's far more important than what players would let you know. If you're a righty and you're asked to play the left side, you'll just play it, and say, you can manage it. But there's an advantage to being on your natural side because there's very little time and space in any professional sport, let alone one where you can skate at a high speed and use a stick to reach out and break up plays in hockey. So when you get the puck on your forehand and your stick is closer to the wall and not out in the middle of the ice and your eyes are up, you see all your options. And, keeping pucks in at the line is a big deal. If you watch Provorov play his backside, his offside, he goes to his backhand, which is probably 50% weaker than your forehand, to try to keep that puck in down the wall. And it doesn't go as far, whereas if you're on your forehand, it's almost like a slingshot. The power is all there, and it's a natural. Get it on your stick, put it right back down in the corner. It's little plays like that allow more offensive time for teams. I think it's a big deal. I like it. I love those two guys coming back, not just on the ice, but in the locker room. Like Monahan has a witty way about him. He can calm things down on the ice and in the locker room and make things exciting today. I don't know what he's going to do on the ice coming back from a big injury where he's missed a lot of time, but I think it's a huge boost to have him. However much he plays tonight, whatever impact he can, it'll be a positive.
Hey, Jody, what do you expect from Fantilli as he now drops to that second line between Boone Jenner and Kent Johnson?
I think it's good. I think anytime we all want a lot on our plate, right? We all want more, right? And we can do more for sometimes when you think you're ready to do more, you can do it for a little bit. But when you take a little bit off your plate, especially as a young player, second year in the National Hockey League, only playing half a season last year. This is the most hockey he's ever played in his entire life. This amount of games he's played now, and the tasks he's been on. I think it takes a little time off his game, which is good. It dials him back a little bit mentally and responsibly of thinking he's got to be the man and carry the top line. And he's got Jenner there with him who can also help him take faceoffs. So I think it's good. And when you hear teams talk about slotting, that's the importance of getting veterans, especially this time of year. You slot you in where you should be on the team, where you fit in, and kind of your position, and it helps the whole overall game plan.
Jody, obviously right now the Jackets are 4 points out of that final wild card spot. How can they make these points up? Should they be playing? You think they should play for overtime in a lot of these games to try to get 2 points?
Well, it gets to a point where I think they're always playing for overtime. The way they've been playing, and you're seeing a lot of teams, that's not on their mind. It's just a defensive first game. All these teams now, you're not seeing a lot of odd man rushes. You're not giving the other team much. So I think it gets to a point, of course, in the third period when it's close to get that extra point. Always. Points are critical. But I think their game plan pretty much, nails that down where it's like keep it close, stay in every game, and give yourself a chance to win. That's not the strategy going in, but tonight they need the 2 points against this Islanders team. It closed the gap and came out of nowhere. And once you get to 6 points, with over 10 games left, you're okay. But once you get under 10 games, you've got to be within 4 or less for that last spot.
Jody, obviously this team here recently has had some trouble scoring goals, and usually games with the Islanders are low-scoring type games because they like to muck it up and play a defensive style. How important is patience tonight for the Jackets?
Yeah, it's a fine line. It's you're right. The Islanders really have a low-event game, but the Blue Jackets have too lately, so that they're used to that. I just think, there's got to be a mentality of to will that puck into the net. It's a team now that some of the moments where they're not scoring, it's kind of hard to believe the puck's not going in the net. You expect it to break. I talked to Zach Werenski about that last week. He said, I've never been in a stretch like this in my life where the puck's not going in the net for anybody. So hopefully the 3 goals last game can get them going. Yeah, I mean, patience is a funny thing because you need to have it in situations defensively, but then there is a certain amount of risk you have to take as long as everyone else can cover it up. And that's where you have to have a goalie to make a save at key times, a defenseman to make a play, or someone on the back check. So, I think tonight you're going to see a different kind of effort or a different kind of offensive effort from this team.
All right, Jody, we'll get you out of here on this one. Who clicks tonight for the Blue Jackets?
Well, with Monahan back, I think it's Marchenko. I think it's been a long time for him. Just a little bit of frustration in his game. I think with Monahan back, Marchenko gets going here tonight. He'll be jumping all night long.
Jody, thanks for the time this morning. 13 games left to go in the regular season for the CBJ squad. We look forward to talking to you before their game against the Canucks on Friday. Enjoy New Jersey tonight, bud. And he joins us courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Someone on X agrees with me in terms of the layover thing. Vance says, these guys are sitting first class, not dealing with the anxiety of watching 25 rows of people get off the plane for you. Thank you, Vance.
Jody sitting first class.
So is Tyvis Powell.
No, I'm not.
You got to talk to the Big Ten Network about that.
I'm just trying to make sure I keep my job at this point.
We'll blitz the weekend coming up next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
The 2 most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants.
The pervert and the skivvies.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Confidence is key this March, both in picking the right Cinderella teams for your bracket and the right contractor for your exterior project. When it comes to your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call the team you can trust. Newman Roofing. Call 614-NEW-ROOF today or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off of closing costs. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. As much as I enjoy being a professional inventor, a few of my dream inventions still elude me.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, the bruiseless avocado.
Ooh.
The unlosable TV remote.
Could change the world.
And for you, Aaron, the uncloggable drain.
Get Eco.
Until you crack it, Jerry. You know our 93 or free drain clearing offer is the next best thing.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Get Eco.
Our drain team will clear your drain for just $93. If we can't clear it, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we will clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
We'll even send our little robot camera down there to make sure you don't have a larger problem that could cause more trouble in the future.
Get Eco.
You think your guys could bring that robot over to my place and help me find that TV remote?
I think that's impossible even for us.
Get Eco.
Eco, plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Uline is expanding in Ohio with a 1.4 million square foot building. and they're looking for exceptional people to get this location up and running. The company has seen decades of growth, creating a stable work environment employees can count on. Warehouse workers earn pay starting from $25 an hour, plus substantial bonus programs and great benefits. They also offer multiple shifts and schedules to fit your life. Check out current Aetna job opportunities at uline.jobs/Ohio.
I'm an old school Joe. I never lay juice I don't want to lay. I don't hate my money like that. I'd rather lay minus 108 than minus 110, wouldn't you? Prime Sports is Ohio's full-time reduced juice sports book. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever. That's 4 lines on unlimited welcome for just $25 a line per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. You'll also get the new iPhone 16 Pro, 4 of them for the entire family when you trade in up to 4 phones from our top brands. That's a new phone for everyone, only on the network you can count on. Verizon. Visit a store today. 20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Spring football continues for Ohio State. It's practice number 4 for the Buckeyes. Head coach Ryan Day will meet with the media around 11 this morning. We'll carry his comments live on the Fan when he takes the podium. We're also scheduled to hear from offensive coordinator Brian Hartline and defensive coordinator Matt Patricia sometime today. The eyes of the NFL will be on Columbus this coming Wednesday as the Buckeyes will hold their annual pro day at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. In college hoops, the transfer portal is open for everyone. Ohio State center Austin Parks announced his intention to transfer last week. The Ohio State women's squad was dismissed last night in the second round of the NCAA tournament. An 82-67 loss to Tennessee at the Shot. And in the NHL, the Blue Jackets are at the New York Islanders tonight at 7:30. You can hear that game on the Fan with pregame coverage at 7. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Enjoy rates as low as 9.90% APR with a Visa Platinum credit card. Apply online at bmifcu.org/Visa.
10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, so as you heard in that update there, transfer portal, it's open.
Yes.
For both the men's squad and the women's squad as the second round of the NCAA tournament has concluded.
Speaking of the transfer portal, I think I have an announcement.
Ooh.
I think that I am officially entering the transfer portal on cane sauce.
Okay.
I think I'm going to honey mustard. You know, it started. Let me explain how this.
You are committing to honey mustard.
I think I am because this is the thing.
It's a big step.
Did honey mustard offer you a better deal than cane sauce?
Yes.
Wow.
And it made me smile.
Because cane sauce, I thought, was the GOAT.
So
in the sauce game.
So this is what happened. One day, Matty Ice comes in and he's talking to Tim about how honey mustard at Cane's is good. So Tim, being the guy that he is, he decided to go try this honey mustard. And he comes back and he says, Tyvis, I think that honey mustard I'm going to say it's better than the cane sauce. And I said, Tim, come on now. It's cane sauce. So I then went out and tried it. And I said, I understand where they're coming from. It's just, it is a little bit better than the cane sauce.
Do they make their honey mustard in-house?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It comes in a little container, so maybe.
Like a plastic container?
Yeah, like the same thing the cane sauce.
Oh, so they might make it in-house.
Yeah, so I think they probably
We'll have to get our Twitter sleuths or our YouTube chat sleuths on that.
People are going to hate me for saying that. But if you haven't, you got to try it first. Try it and then tell me that I'm wrong.
Because I always...
Hold on. Technically, Matty Ice is wrong.
Yeah, you're just jumping on. Matty Ice is committing.
Yeah,
you're just riding his coattails.
All your hate mail to Matty Ice.
Well, send him the love too, not just the hate mail.
If you love the mustard,
give it. Tell
love to Matty Ice. If you hate the mustard, or if you like cane sauce more,
he did spark.
Hate to Matty Ice.
I feel like Tyvus is going to get nominated for Tool of the Week now again because of this.
I have not been nominated for Tool of the Week since the nom.
Well, here it comes this week.
Bishop and Friends present a weekend sports blitz.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations, Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
All right, aside from honey mustard at Cane's, Tyvus, what else did you have from this weekend?
I absolutely had the Cavs ending their losing streak against Utah, because if they lost to Utah, I was going to officially be slamming the panic button. But they came out and played in a good fashion. It wasn't the greatest game, but they played clean enough to win that game. So I knew the Cavs would get back on track against Utah.
Baker, what'd you have?
I had that the OSU women's ice hockey team would make it to a 4th straight national championship game. Unfortunately, Coach Muzz and the crew came up just short. Kind of controversial there at the end as Wisconsin gets a penalty shot and puts it into overtime and then gets the win. But, man, women's ice hockey at Ohio State has been on fire here the past few years. Coach Muzz, she might be coach of the year for everything in all of sports.
Yeah.
I think I had that the Blue Jackets season might be over.
Oh, no.
I will not stand for this.
Why you gotta Debbie Downer this thing?
Can't see it after that 6-3 loss to Pittsburgh. The way the Penguins, in the first, it was 3-1, and you're just wondering if it's too little, too late.
No,
in terms of them getting their 13 games up this season. I hope I'm wrong, but it just felt like on this 6-game stretch, you've just seen the gas run out. So maybe the injections of Sean Monahan and Eric Goodbranson reinvigorate. We will see tonight, but I do not have a good feeling about this on the Long Island.
The good news is you've been wrong a lot.
That's true.
So let's hope.
I would like to be wrong.
Let's hope you're wrong on this one.
All right, what didn't you have from the weekend?
I did not have that the Guardians would spend some money signing Tanner Bybee to an extension. Now, a lot of people think that he shouldn't have done that. He should have, got closer to free agency and then really hit it. But the fact that they was able to get a deal done with a pitcher who's pretty much their ace right now.
They want him to be the ace.
Exactly.
He's got to do the work now.
To get that done like that, I was shocked. We don't spend a dime, and we finally got something down, and he's a good player.
Tyvus, I will say, not as good as America's team this year, but I do like the Nolan Jones trade for you guys. That's a very nice move.
The reacquisition.
You're talking about the Braves?
Who's that?
America's team.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, I thought it was the Braves.
Even though they traded Captain America, still America's team.
Baker, what did you have?
I did not have that March would be this mild and not wild. I thought like March Madness, especially this year, we were going to have, because it seemed like all these teams were so clumped up and anything could happen. But for the most part, March Madness been not so mad.
Messed up the brackets.
This just came across our YouTube chat. I did not have that Canes had honey mustard, because it's been a minute for me and Raising Canes.
Look at you.
I did not know they had honey mustard.
You over healthy achiever.
And Ace chimes in, it's made in-house literally with mustard and honey, saying I used to work there many years ago. So this from a former Raising Canes employee, the honey mustard, they just put the two together in-house.
Than the cane sauce.
Reese also said there might be a little mayonnaise in there for the base, but just those 3 ingredients.
I'm not a mustard guy, so I won't partake.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. When you went to a baseball game, you didn't get a hot dog with mustard?
I do ketchup on the hot dog.
What about stadium mustard?
Nope. I don't
even know who you are.
I've also changed what I get at baseball games now.
Salad?
I get an Uncrustable. They started. This might have been a couple seasons ago, but they sold Uncrustables at it's right next to the cargo store. They have that concession has Uncrustables, and they're like $3.
You don't get a hot dog.
Nope, not anymore.
Baker, you get a hot dog?
Sometimes, yeah.
When you go to the Jackets, you get a hot dog?
Not usually.
What's going on with y'all? That's like when you go to any sporting event, that's like the number one thing.
I did have 2 hot dogs at the basketball tournament this weekend.
Did you put stadium mustard on?
I'm not a big mustard or ketchup person.
Well, yeah, that's why you two were made for each other.
Tyvis, you seem disappointed. Who impressed you from the weekend?
Who impressed me this weekend is people gonna hate this, but Roddy Gale did. I didn't know that he had his game, like he had this game that can elevate a team and help the Wolverines advance like they did. So Roddy Gale, wow.
Guys, for me, the player that impressed the most this weekend was Gator Nichols. He is a 6 foot, maybe 150-pound guard for the Maysville Panthers, and they won the Division
They beat Glenville.
3 state championship, beating Cleveland Glenville over the weekend. Gator Nichols, maybe the most impressive performance I've seen ever at a state basketball tournament. 36 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, but the dude just willed his team to win that game over a Glenville team that was way more athletic than them. But man, does Gator Nichols have a lot of heart. Some small school somewhere is going to get them a hell of a basketball player in that kid.
I was impressed with freshman center Derek Queen of the Maryland Terrapins. You ask for the MF ball, you better do something with it. With 0.3 seconds to go, he may or may not have traveled and got a shot up to advance Maryland to the Sweet 16. You ask for it, you better do something with it, and he did. Disappointed, Tyvis, outside of Baker and I, who disappointed.
I can't believe
who disappointed you this weekend.
Donovan Mitchell did. Now, people are going to be like, well, Donovan played well. He's got the assist where he threw the quarterback pass to Max Strus. It was a bullet. It was great.
Get him in the outfield for the Guardians.
But the problem with him has been the shooting slump. And I thought against a Utah team, he'd get out of it. He went 0 for 5 from Trey. So, he's still in that slump. And that could be a problem, especially when they go up against some of these better teams. So, he kind of disappointed me in that.
For me, it's Taylor Theory of the OSU women's basketball team. And not that she played terrible. She scored 8 points, had 6 rebounds, was 3 of 4 from the field. But I think she just needed to be more involved. They needed someone to step up and play with Jelani and Cody, and it seemed like no one else really did. And I thought Taylor Theory, the senior, her last game in the shot, regardless, I thought we would see a little more from her.
Yeah, she always gave me that Kawhi Leonard. Like, she played really good defense. She could hit the jumper occasionally. Really good finisher. I think what she finished with 9 points.
8 points.
Yeah, they needed more.
I'll do this. I'm disappointed. This Eddie Van Trollen, now that could tell you all you need to know in the YouTube chat, saying real men don't eat ketchup on hot dogs. Just saying. I'm disappointed if you have to judge your masculinity based off a condiment. That says more about you than it does anybody else. Just saying.
Well, isn't Chicagoans saying you don't put ketchup on hot dogs?
Well, they put everything else on a hot dog, so they got to leave something off.
I gotta go down and ask Fish, do he put ketchup on his hot dog?
The only thing you need to put on a hot dog is cheese.
I mean, it's your hot dog. You put what you want on it.
It's mustard.
I'm not going to jump on you about your condiment preferences here.
It's mustard.
Fine.
That's why Baskin Robbins makes
It's going in your
flavors.
mouth. Why do I care what's on it?
That's a good point.
Coach of the week, Tyvis.
Kevin Willard, for the reasons that you just... Why? Because anytime you go scream to people who wants the ball, and somebody say, give me the ball, and you decide to draw the play up to give them the ball and it works, that means you trust your players. That is what great coaches do. They trust their players in big-time moments, and got them to the Sweet 16.
Guys, I got to go back to the high school basketball tournament this weekend. It's Anthony Kalo for me, the head coach of Olentangy Orange. Sorry, Reese, if I just stole yours.
You both took mine because I had a 1 and a 2. But this has happened before, I think. Where we have a coach of the weekend. Yes. You took my first one, you took my second one. Both deserved.
But really cool what he's done with that program, getting Olentangy Orange to their first state championship. Also, I remember it would have been, I believe, 9 years ago. His father, Ed, winning one for Westerville South with the Wesson brothers on the court. So very, very cool for the Kalo family this weekend.
I'm just going to go with JB Bickerstaff.
Right
oh, no. Well, yes.
Yes.
The Pistons have been playing pretty well. So, but also...
he got them in the playoffs, not to play in the playoffs.
Idea that Detroit is going to be in the playoffs this season, that's a pretty miraculous turnaround.
While still paying Monty Williams a large salary.
They're paying him not to coach, like $9 million.
Yep. And he's
good for them.
And he's getting paid by the Suns.
Good for him.
He's doing well for himself.
Detroit, they've, won 3 of their last 4. They're sitting 40-32. That's a really good turnaround for the former head coach of one Cleveland Cavaliers squad.
By the way, Reese, loyal listener in the YouTube chat, Phil, says it's going in your mouth. I don't care what's on it. Cut that up. I was going to, Phil.
Oh, that's
worry. That's the new promo. Already on it.
I gotta start getting in the chat, man. I gotta see this.
Are we getting a decision on Aaron Rodgers this week? We'll discuss next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Common Man here. I take my job as endorser for Germain Lexus very seriously. I want to make sure that every Lexus on the lot meets my expectations. That's why I personally sit in each one. I massage the leather. Sometimes I take a nap in the back seat. If that's not a selling point, I don't know what is. Deal time. Lease the 2025 ES350 for as low as $409 per month, or get 3.49% financing up to 60 months on their most popular new Lexus models. 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton. Check them out online, GermainLexus.com.
Factory direct is really pretty simple. The factory sells it directly to the consumer. I mean, we build it. There's nothing that anybody else does. We have stations where everybody touches the window. Everyone sees what's going on. So if there's an issue, we catch it as it's going down the line. That's probably the biggest thing, is the ability to make sure what goes out the door is what I want to go out the door.
Visit Rosati Windows and get 35% off all windows and doors by March 31st.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Easy Cater. It's all the food for your workplace, all in one place. With over 100,000 restaurants nationwide on one platform. Whether you need food for company meetings or events, daily employee lunches, or your next lunch and learn, Easy Cater makes food for work, work. And it doesn't stop at lunch. With Easy Cater, you've got great breakfast options, snacks, treats, and more. Whenever and wherever work happens, Easy Cater's here to make the food happen. Order now at easycater.com.
When you reach for UDF's new pizza, you're getting more than just a quick slice. You're getting family recipe focaccia dough, handcrafted in our bakery. You're biting into a hot, crispy crust. You're tasting delicious sauce and loads of meaty, cheesy flavor. You might even be burning the roof of your mouth on that first bite, but that's okay. It's a good burn. UDF makes more than just pizza. We make pizza for you. New Sicilian-style pizza from United Dairy Farmers at participating locations. UDF, made for you.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
This is Pause Before You Play, and it's time for more game day picks from local sports fans. You're on the air. Who you got?
Actually, I'm not betting. Just chilling and watching the game.
I know that move. A pause. Sounds like you've got a winning strategy.
Exactly. After I set limits and recognized the risk, I knew it was time to stop.
Now that is responsible betting, folks. Sports are fast. Betting shouldn't be. Make a plan at pausebeforeyouplay.org. That's pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
The sunshine is back today. It'll be windy, though. Winds gusting up to 40 miles per hour. Today's high 56. Tonight's low 36. Heading into Tuesday, expect scattered showers with a high of 53. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter doesn't have a mullet, but he's knee-deep in mullet energy. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan. Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Eric Reeser, Tyvis Powell, Ryan Baker rolling along until noon today. We'll have Ohio State's head coach Ryan Day expected around 11-ish. We'll get his thoughts from the podium as soon as he takes it. We'll have Austin Ward coming up in about 10 minutes. He was at Ohio State's practice today, the 4th of the spring. But real quick, we are joined by a special guest in studio, one Matty Ice Hayes, to clear up some condiment controversy.
Yeah,
from
I'm
our
here.
last segment.
Apparently, I got thrown under the bus in the last segment.
Tyvis is known to do that.
I'm trying to give you acknowledgement.
Okay, you're trying to acknowledge me like I'm Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Put your ones up in the sky. Listen, apparently you said that I've gone to Cane's, and I've said that the honey mustard sauce is better than the original Cane sauce.
Correct.
I've never had the honey mustard from Cane's.
So why
I didn't even
would
really
Tim
know
say this?
it existed, so I'm just here to clear my name. It might be better. But
No,
I am such a fan of the cane sauce that I cannot allow that to be put into the atmosphere when I haven't had it on my
You just
palate
did like the wrong Matt. Did you talk to Matty Andrews maybe?
No.
Did you?
I didn't talk to him directly. I talked to Tim, who Tim said he said.
So not only did you go on hearsay, but you went hearsay from Tim Hall of all people.
That's pretty bad.
Where's Tim at?
I'm going to change my disappointment to you, Tyvis Powell.
He listen. It's the right angle.
He didn't even have the honey mustard.
The thing.
So how?
When you go, just tell them you want the honey mustard. You tell them you want one, they won't charge you for it. That's how good it is. They'll charge you for it.
I'll take your word for it. Look, I just wanted to come clear my name quickly. I'm getting ready to leave the studio. I love you guys.
We appreciate you coming in here and doing that, because what the hell, Tyvis?
Bishop and Friends is where it's at.
Listen.
Hot chicken. What combo you picking? I'm out.
Definitely 2 of the week.
Maddie and AR on at noon today.
You know how you play the telephone game, and you know how the message gets mixed up after you go down the line?
You can't put this on Tim Hall. That's all on you, my friend.
Tim. Tim said that Matty Ice said. That's the reason he tried it.
It can't be you to come on and say.
Well, especially
when the hearsay comes from Timmy.
I need to clear my name, because right now it's like I'm.
If only you had a platform to do such name clearing. Like, I don't know, 90 minutes today where you could do it.
It's Tim's fault.
Or sometime this week if you happen to be on a program that Tim might frequent. You can have that discussion from 3 to 6. Tomorrow?
Is Tim working today?
I have no idea what the schedule is after today, man. I'm living a day at a time.
Tim, if you want, and you're listening right now, you need to address
all of this over Cane's honey mustard.
I'm very disappointed that you literally said it was all confident with your chest. It's Matty
so
Ice.
confident about it.
It wasn't
Matty Ice did Tim.
You know what? I feel like that reporter that said that the SEC is 500 in conference play. That's how I feel right now. I see how he feels.
Tim Hall.
Tim, why would Tim lie?
Because he's Tim.
I wouldn't say lie, but I would say maybe fudge the facts a little bit.
Maybe because Matty Ice said that Dave Holmes was the one that once said that. So, therefore, there you go.
Well, you've learned a valuable lesson today, if anything. That if someone says someone said something, maybe you go to that person before bringing it to the air. So next time someone says, I heard Matty Ice say this, go to Matty Ice and confirm with him. I'm just giving you some journalism tips as you might need it in the future.
You're a member of the media now, Tyvis. 2 sources.
The thing you can't do on the air is pretend to just say something and then when it's proven to be wrong, be like, well, I'm not a journalist, so that doesn't apply to me. You can at least try to have some journalistic integrity. And journalistic integrity would dictate for you in the future, go to Matty. Don't take it from Tim to the air.
Let's okay, how about this? Let's cut Maddie out of this.
We can't now. You threw him into it.
Let's cut Maddie out. But people, you know what? You taught me that the listeners from then is not the same listeners.
Different
now.
audiences.
Okay, yes. So if that's the case, cut Maddie out. Tim said that the Honey Mustard was better than cane sauce. Wow.
But you've tried both now.
I have.
So you can now take your learned experience.
I prefer the honey mustard.
Yeah. All right. Now we'll leave that to everybody else.
Both are great, though.
To decide what they prefer. We've got a couple of guys that are telling their current teams we'd prefer to play elsewhere next season. The transfer portal's open for both the Ohio State men and the Ohio State women. Adam Jardy's doing the Lord's work over at the Columbus Dispatch and has a couple of names of players for the basketball Buckeyes to look out for. Now, right now, we've only heard from Austin Parks, who announced his decision to enter the transfer portal last week. We haven't heard anything from anybody else from Team 126 that would lead you to believe they're out. But a couple players that Ohio State fans, per Adam Jardy, would like to keep an eye on. One, Gabe Cupps. Mr. Ohio basketball in 2023.
He's at Indiana?
Was at Indiana. Now he has entered his name into the transfer portal. Obviously, as the Hoosiers bring on West Virginia's coach, that does open that opportunity up. Doesn't mean he won't stay in Bloomington, but
do you think that this
greener pastures he's seeking right now?
You think that they want to go back to getting the top kids in Ohio to come play for Ohio State again?
It's such a fine line you got to walk.
Yeah, because I know with football, that's like a big thing where it's like you want most of the guys from Ohio, which we keep losing some good commits, too, out of Ohio, too, which that's another story for another day. But you want predominantly your team to be made up of Ohio guys because it just means more. So do you think that this basketball program is trying to maybe take a page out of that book?
Tyvis, I will say this. They have 3 of the last 4 Mr. Basketballs on the roster or coming to Ohio State, with Marcus Johnson, who was just named Mr. Basketball last weekend. The other one in that group is Gabe Cupps.
Okay.
Because Colin White and Devin Royal are already here. Their recruiting class coming in this year has Dorian Jones, who's from Richmond Heights, and then next year also Alex Smith, the Upper Arlington kid. There's a lot of talk that Marcus Johnson may be reclassifying and coming this coming year. But the issue is, are the guys in Ohio good enough right now? Like Darren Peterson was, but he left. And then he had to deal with Adidas and went to Kansas.
Yeah.
So are the guys in Ohio, you always want to have Ohio guys, but are they enough to move the needle?
Makes sense.
Are they the guys that you really need? With Gabe Cupps, he hasn't done much at Indiana yet, and I don't see Gabe Cupps being what this team needs right now. He was a fine high school basketball player. I don't think he's what Ohio State needs. If I was Ohio State, my first
a big man
worries in the transfer portal are a big man, another big man, and somebody that can hit the 3.
Now I saw with Owen Freeman would be a guy that I would say, sure. Now, I don't think Ohio State will be in play for his services because he factors to be a guy that's going to probably command and earn a lot in terms of name, image, and likeness, but he's a big that can land a 3. And so I'm absolutely where Baker is with Ohio State's portal priority. Big. A lot of love for Gabe Cupps, especially a former Ohio Mr. Basketball, but he's 6'2". That's not big.
Well, he might got a jumper.
Owen Freeman, 6'10", 230 pounds.
That's a big difference.
That factors into what you could use. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Bradshaw.
Does he grab rebounds?
He had 6.7 rebounds in 2 seasons with Iowa. So Adam Jardy's saying that Ohio State's one of many schools involved for the services of Owen Freeman. Now, Hawkeye fans, I know, were very vocal about thinking that he quit on their team around December of this past year. I don't know if there was, anything with the coaching staff, or things are different everywhere, right? And so you don't want to necessarily use his experience with the coaching staff there and think it can't work in Columbus. But I look to that, where you have a big that can shoot is the need. A big that can be physical down low, but can also be kind of a threat. I know you go, well, those don't just grow on trees. You're right. But that's the ask, or that's job 1 for Jake Diebler.
Well, it's
for Team 127.
It's going to cost you.
And
it might cost you a lot. It might cost you a little, but it's going to cost you.
If you want to make a run now in March, it's going to cost you. For any of the teams that you've got for the Sweet 16, it costs them. And that's going to be the case for Ohio State. And I don't think that Ohio State, and especially Ohio State's name, image, and likeness collectives, aren't up to the task of paying that. It's all about how it's allocated. Yeah. And the proper allocation's going to mean everything from portal persons to make Team 127. What about this Ohio State football team? As they wrap up spring practice number 4, we'll get thoughts of Austin Ward coming up in 2 minutes as Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if erectile dysfunction is making a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and the one you love. At Tri-State Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654. That's 800-900-9654. Or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
1-800-GOT-JUNK makes space for possibilities.
When our clean, shiny truck arrives, it's the sign of a new beginning, a clean start, a breath of fresh air.
All the animals start giggling, a rainbow appears, and music fills the air.
Your best friend calls with happy news. Every table has fresh flowers on it, and your nights are full of candlelight.
We bring the springtime.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
March is on at Lindsay Honda. Shoot your shot and save. It's madness. You get to choose your finance rate on over 600 new Lindsay Hondas. 0%, 1.9, 2.9, and up to a full 60 months long. And no trade-in required. This deal works with 0 down. March is on at Lindsay Honda. Save with rates as low as 0% at lindsayhonda.com.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference. See lindsayhonda.com for details.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
He knows everything about the Buckeyes. He's been offered tens of dollars by a certain team to spill his secrets. He's told that certain team to go to hell. Damn you all to hell! He's Austin Ward.
And he joins us courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline of the podcast and dotting the I's on the Rivals Network, also right here on The Fan. Austin, thanks for giving us some of your time this morning. I know it's kind of a busy one, but as Ohio State wrapped up day 4 of spring, are we any closer to picking a quarterback to start against Texas on August 30th?
I mean, it sort of depends on your perspective. I don't think that Ohio State is going to officially name anyone as the starting quarterback during spring camp. But if you would project forward and make an educated guess, I think the assumption that Julian Sayin is going to be the starting quarterback for Ohio State is still fair. But, you know, this is day 4. They're wrapping up outside on the indoor facility at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center right now. Just have only had the pads on a couple of times and haven't had any scrimmages. So it's pretty early in that front. And even by the time they get to April 12th in the showcase, I still don't think that there will be any real urgency on Ryan Day's part to name somebody. And that's not unusual for him. Even in clear situations like Justin Fields that carried into August a year ago with Will Howard, I think was actually officially the earliest time that he had ever named a starter. That was still in the middle part of camp there in August. So I think we can look at it and make reasonable assumptions about how this is going to end, but there's not any tremendous urgency to bring an end to that competition. And what you really want is for Lincoln Kienholz and to some extent Tavian St. Clair to go out there and push it and make it hard for Julian Sayin to actually get that designation officially. So I think we're a ways off from that. And that makes total sense to me.
Austin, you know, I got to go on the defensive side of the ball because that's just who I am.
No, surely not.
When you look at this secondary, right, particularly the corners. Now, every year we've had 3 corners, whether it was Denzel Burke, IGB, or Jermaine Matthews. Now that one of those guys are out of the equation, who is that third guy now, or 4, or maybe they got 2 other guys that can come in there? Who are you confident can go into a game if an IGB or Jermaine Matthews broke a shoelace?
Yeah, I think, Tyvis, that it may be a situation where it's 4 or potentially even 5 for Ohio State. And some of that is banking on you just look at Devin Sanchez, and he is different than most true freshmen. And I know that there's probably going to be practices that don't go well, reps that don't go well. He's going to be facing against Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and Brandon Innes in practice, and there might be times that he loses, but he's also going to win some of those reps too. He certainly looks the part and fits that profile of the number 1 cornerback in the country. Aaron Scott a year ago was not far off from that conversation either, and he's now got a year of experience in the program under his belt. So I think both of those guys, you look there, and where it shows up for me most, Tyvis, is not necessarily losing Denzel Burke and what that means for the third corner, but sort of how the pieces work to replace Jordan Hancock, because you look in that nickel spot, do you view it more as a safety? Do you view it more as a corner? You have to be able to do some of both. And I think that he might actually be the toughest guy to replace on this team. And I think that the cornerback position might be a place that Ohio State looks to borrow from there. You have Lorenzo Styles back to play in that role, and he's got experience, and he's had a couple of years now to acclimate to playing on the defensive side. But, I think this might be a situation, and I'm pretty interested to hear Matt Patricia's thoughts on that in about, an hour's time. Because he's talked about different, personnel groupings and sub packages. And I wonder how many guys they're looking at to play that nickel spot. And it may be because they have an overflowing room of cornerbacks that might be able to help there.
Austin, just from your vantage point, what's it been like with Ohio State's defense and Matt Patricia? And again, it's only practice number 4, but just what have you seen or heard from how he's interacting with the players and the other coaches on the staff?
Yeah, so far I think everything I've heard has been positive, and maybe we're just in that honeymoon period of 6-7 weeks in, and everyone is putting their best foot forward. But I've talked to a number of people who have just come away really impressed. I think there was the impression based on the way that things went at Detroit and managing that roster and the personnel, and coming from the Bill Belichick tree, that maybe it was going to be a difficult transition, maybe it would be prickly, maybe it wouldn't go great. The guy, has come in and been very personable. He's had 4 practices to work with, so what is it going to look like schematically on the field? I don't know. I mean, he's got that Bible and he's got the number 2 pencil, so I think he's drawing up a bunch of that stuff, and we may not have definitive answers on that by April 12th. Although, you don't necessarily have to get that done at that point, given the talent that Ohio State has to work with for him. They can build that as they go, and they're definitely not broken. They were the number 1 defense in the country last year and won a national title. But I think it's the stuff walking around the hallways, leading meeting rooms, and getting along with the rest of the coaching staff that I think has, I would say, vastly exceeded the reputation that he had when he arrived. And maybe that's not fair to have that perception about somebody until you actually know them. But he aced the interview process. I think we can say that for sure. And then everything since then, I think, has really impressed people in this building.
Austin Ward, our guest, Dotting the I's, the podcast on the Rivals Network. What do you expect that spring showcase to look like on April 12th?
It probably won't be all that different than what we've seen the last couple of years, honestly. The days of lining up and having real full contact scrimmages in public have already sort of passed everyone by in college football, but especially Ohio State. The last few years have been, pretty controlled. A lot of thud periods, trying to manage the roster the right way, because you can't really have these games. Primarily it's because you're looking at the wear and tear and the numbers on the offensive line and defensive line. You just can't really do that. So I think that that's probably going to look familiar to people, but maybe even scaled back a little bit compared to the previous couple of years. And it's not, I don't think, because of the reasons that Matt Rule talked about with fear of the portal or anything else. I think for Ohio State specifically, they are in a spot where their season went into the third week in January. And so they already had a bunch of reps built up for these guys, including the true freshmen. It was like an extra spring camp for them. And they're trying to play 16 or 17 games again next year. So going out there on April 12th and ratcheting up the intensity and putting somebody in harm's way, I don't think it holds great appeal for Ohio State and really doesn't give them much advantage in the long run. So I think it's, we all loved the old days where you could go in there and get a good feel for the depth chart and who was making the most of it, and you can get some spring game MVPs out of that. I know Tyvus loves a good spring game and a chance to pop those pads in April, but I think I can look at it and certainly understand why that usefulness has expired. But I do hope that they can do enough things around that day for the fans and to celebrate the national championship. And it's important as well from NIL opportunities to continue to have the horseshoe full if you're going to give back to the roster. So I know they're working on all that. In terms of what the actual game itself will look like, probably not going to be a ton of intrigue there.
Well, Austin, I am a crowd pleaser. If you're going to come if you're going to pay $7 or $10 or whatever the heck it is, I got to give you a show. I got to make you spill your popcorn. So that was always what I was looking to do. But I want to ask you about the offensive line. The Buckeyes brought in 2 transfer tackles, in the portal. And obviously, I thought it was a foregone conclusion that those 2 guys would be the starting tackles. But I seen, on day one, Austin Serafeld was the starting tackle. Is that a place that he potentially will be at the beginning of the season, or is he just the guy that they're trying to shuffle in different positions on the offensive line?
Yeah, I'm not trying to dodge it, but it could be, a little bit of both. I would not write Austin Serafeld out of this conversation. Now, Ethan Onianwa was like a potential second-round pick leaving Rice, and the conversation was, to come to Ohio State and maybe boost that stock and make a little money along the way, prove yourself at the Big Ten level, at the college football playoff level, and what that might do for him. I think he's going to be the starting left tackle for Ohio State. But, I had the idea for sure that you pencil in Phillip Daniels. He had 4 starts there at Minnesota. You bring him in for a reason that he would probably be there at right tackle. And maybe that was too dismissive of Austin Serafeld, who, at the end of last week, was named an Iron Buckeye for the winter, one of only 3 that the Buckeyes had. So certainly everybody in the building over here thinks very highly of Austin Serafeld. I think at the worst case scenario, he's the 6th man who can play both guard and tackle for Ohio State, which is critically important. And we all saw the value of that as they worked through the injury adversity on the way to the playoff and getting through the Big Ten schedule in October and November last year. So he's critically important for this team. But I think to just say, well, he is the 6th man and he should accept that. And no, he's not doing that. He is pushing for a starting job, and he can do that in multiple different spots. So last week, opening week of camp, was a really important reminder, I think, of how crucial Austin Serafeld could be, especially because this team doesn't have a ton of depth at tackle. And so you have somebody who can supplement that while also playing an interior spot. That's very, very important, and a tribute to Austin Serafeld.
A lot of excitement, a lot of opportunity for all the players on Ohio State's squad as we get into week 2 of spring ball. Austin, we appreciate the time today, bud. Enjoy the week, and we'll catch up with you next Monday.
Will do. See you guys.
And he joins us courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We'll do Thing or Not a Thing next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
We're catching up with that famous deep-sea explorer, Jacques Black Jacques. Jacques, where are you today? You're in Columbus. What could you possibly be exploring in Columbus?
The April showers bring flooding to Batmans.
Oh, I see. Spring rains mean basements are flooding.
This not necessary. Apex Pros.
Not necessary. Call Apex Pros.
A simple zoom pump chick.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble understanding this. Zoom pump
chick.
Sump pump check. Are you saying sump pump check?
Oui.
Yes, of course. A sump pump check from the pros who knows at Apex Pros.
They come to your house.
They come to your house.
They test your zoom pump.
They test your, what is it again?
Zoom pump.
Some pump, right.
All with a 5-star guarantee.
All with a 5-star guarantee. Now, see, I understood that perfectly.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Do you realize making the minimum monthly payments on your credit cards, it'll take nearly 20 years to pay them off? What if I told you there's a way for you to get them all paid off in just a matter of weeks? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Imagine wiping out all of your credit cards. Here's where you go. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending is the easy button for tapping in to hundreds of thousands of dollars in your home equity. That's not the bank money, it's your money. Listen, your home, the value is way up. And now AFLcash.com has a super fast, hassle-free program that lets you turn that equity into cash. People who do this are living their best life, their credit card debt free, with cash left over for other stuff like home improvements, maybe a vacation. See how much money you can get now. Go to AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Say goodbye to greedy credit card companies. That's AFLcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Easy Cater. It's all the food for your workplace, all in one place. With over 100,000 restaurants nationwide on one platform. Whether you need food for company meetings or events, daily employee lunches, or your next lunch and learn, Easy Cater makes food for work, work. And it doesn't stop at lunch. With Easy Cater, you've got great breakfast options, snacks, treats, and more. Whenever and wherever work happens, Easy Cater's here to make the food happen. Order now at easycater.com.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
Scott the Scots here. How did the grass feel when it woke up from winter? A little crabby. Get it? Crabgrass? Right now, there's a short window of time to apply Scott's Turf Builder Halt's Crabgrass Preventer. It stops crabgrass before it invades and feeds your lawn for a fast green up after winter. Act now to prevent your grass from waking up crabby this spring. That joke never gets old. But trust me, crabgrass does.
Get a bag of Scott's Turf Builder Halt's Crabgrass Preventer with lawn food today.
Feed your lawn. Feed it.
Discover uncompromising quality at a reliable price with Giant Eagle and Market District. Find everyday savings and bargains on produce, meat, and more. Look for signs throughout the store highlighting long-term lower prices. With our weekly sales, deals for days promotions, and My Perks loyalty program, Giant Eagle helps make the most out of every shopping trip. Surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and experience value like never before. Visit Giant Eagle and Market District today to see how easy it is to save.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Reese Tyvis Baker until noon today. No more Jake Diebler show. As the Ohio State season ended with a whimper in the second round of the Big Ten tournament, they elected to not go to the postseason. Right now, I'm going to guess and hope that they are spending their time looking for persons to pluck out of the transfer portal, as it is now open for men's and women's basketball. The second round of the NCAA tournament over for both. Ohio State was dismissed last night to Tennessee. So Kevin McGuff looking to probably do similar portaling to Jake Diebler. Get a big. Get a big, get a big, get a big. And everything else follows in after that.
Thing or not a thing?
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
Before making their run to the Sweet 16, there were rumors that Maryland head coach Kevin Willard was going to jump to Villanova. Willard was asked about the Terrapins was asked before the first round game that Maryland had if he might jump to Villanova, and he'd kind of raised some eyebrows with a story that he told in regards to Maryland and their NIL, Maryland and their athletic budget, and how supportive it was of his basketball team.
I also have to make a fundamental change where I can do the things that I want to do with my program. You know, I wanted to spend an extra night in New York this year to celebrate Christmas with my team, and I was told that we can't do that because it's too expensive. So I don't know how we can be a top-tier program and I can't spend one extra night in New York because it's too expensive. So there's fundamental things I'm fighting for my team and my program. It's not so much about me. It seems I want to make sure that whatever we do going forward, we're successful, and we're successful at the highest rate.
And so after the Terrapins beat Grand Canyon in the first round, he was asked more about those comments because they did go fairly viral about the portal, about Maryland, and how much it supports the team. Asked, quote, "Are there things you feel like you valued more or less last offseason than other coaches that led to such success?" Because Maryland did do some portaling. All teams kind of have to now. But did he feel that he had enough support from Maryland? And he goes on to say, "I think I've talked about this. When I first got the job at Maryland, we were selling hats at tailgates and football games. That was NIL. Then from year 1 to year 2, I was behind. The game just totally changed. It went poof. We lost Akeem Hart to Villanova, and when I found out what our budget was, I was like, that's our total payroll. We have to get with it," end quote. Thing or not a thing?
I mean, that's a big thing because that's what he's dealing with is what a lot of schools are going to deal with. This is how you lose to the blue bloods of, football or of basketball. This is similar to what's the kicker that got plucked from Alabama took him or something?
Alabama took Miami of Ohio's kicker.
Yeah, see, that's this situation right here. They can afford to pay me more for my services, so therefore I'm going to go. And a lot of kids are going to do that. So if you want to have a top program, you always going to have money build up, and that's why you see everybody's trying to figure out ways to generate revenue and all of those things. So if Maryland likes being in the Sweet 16 and wants to continue to do these great things and keep this coach, they better figure out a way to raise more money.
I think it's a thing because I think a lot of college basketball programs are dealing with this right now and trying to get this NIL set up, and they're trying, and good on the players for trying to get what they want, and I think they're trying to push like football, but they can't. And it's also a thing because he's probably using this for leverage, right? He's going to go somewhere where they're going to meet his demands, or he's going to get Maryland to meet his demands. This is something I worry about all the time for the Ohio State basketball program. And I hope that there's enough pieces of pie, Reese, in the NILs and the foundations and the collectives and all of that for the basketball team as well. But I just don't know if they're going to put the emphasis on it, and I don't want Ohio State basketball to get left behind.
It did feel after Ohio State's loss to Iowa, and I think Bo did a really good job of discussing this, that the anger surrounding the program was more, this is unacceptable, what this has been. So I don't necessarily know that it's about how much money or how much support financially is available for Jake Diebler and for this basketball team. I'm more so on that it needs to be allocated properly.
Yeah, I think that's probably the thing, because you went out and you got three. You got Michi, Aaron Bradshaw, and Sean Stewart all came from good programs. It probably wasn't cheap. Obviously, those three, maybe you didn't get a ROI on it, but it showed that you at least have the dollars to go get those type of players. So, yeah, maybe you need to make sure that you find the right guys and allocate those dollars properly.
Because I think we can all agree that Michigan's basketball team, Michigan State's basketball team, and Purdue have really strong NIL support. I mean, for Purdue, it just goes back, for me, you got to keep these kids committed to West Lafayette.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pony money up because it's West Lafayette.
Yes.
So for Maryland, as they are one of 4 of the Big Ten in the Sweet 16, for Maryland, who offered Kevin Willard reportedly a term sheet before the NCAA tournament, and then just got their athletic director poached by SMU, that's got to come from the booster base. Yeah. How much do you want this success to continue? How much do you want to pay to keep Kevin Willard?
They might as well. The football team.
I agree with you. You're right. Come on, Scott Van Pelt.
Yeah,
trying to think of other Boomer Esiason, prominent Maryland Terrapins.
Sean Merriman.
Under Armour.
Is Under Armour thing or not a thing anymore?
What do you mean? People don't wear Under Armour?
Do people wear Under Armour anymore as much as they used to?
I think so.
I don't see it.
I think Under Armour has enough money to help out the basketball program.
That I don't doubt. I just wonder, they're not as strong as they used to be. On Friday, the Browns agreed to terms with free agent linebacker Jerome Baker. The Cleveland native began last season with the Seahawks and started the first of 5 games this past season before being traded to the Titans. He appeared in 5 more games for the Tennessee Titans. Finished the season with 61 tackles, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery, and 566 defensive snaps between the 2 stops. Baker was a member of the 2014 state championship football team while at Benedictine and was considered the number 2 recruit in the state of Ohio for the class of 2015. A thing or not a thing?
This is a big thing. This is one of those things that it's a thing for a lot of reasons. One, when I first seen that they were interested in him, obviously I know Jerome. I love Jerome. He's from Cleveland, so I'm like, oh, yeah, this is perfect. But when they signed him, the thing that I immediately thought of was JOK must not be okay, because if that was the case, they're similar. Jerome Baker, if you know Jerome, he's very athletic as a linebacker. He's not the biggest guy, but he's very, very athletic. And when you think about JOK, he was that guy. To me, this is a guy that they're trying to get for because JOK must not be ready. Well, maybe must not be ready to play at the beginning of the season or if ever again. So that's what I thought about when I seen them get Jerome Baker, who's going to go on to do great things he already did for Ohio State, for the Browns.
Glad to have cousin Jerome with the Browns. That's always a plus. It's funny that you put that in there about him being from Cleveland Benedictine and winning the state championship. I remember I got to watch some of his games in high school, and I always thought, man, this dude is going to be an awesome running back. And he came to Ohio State and became a linebacker and was pretty good. I always thought it was weird that the Dolphins let him go. I know it was a money thing.
Well, they had paid him first.
He was doing pretty good with them, and then he went to the Seahawks and surprisingly got traded to the Titans. I'm with you, Tyvis. The first thing I thought of was, seems like insurance for JOK for sure, but Jerome Baker can do a lot of things, very athletic.
Yeah, hopefully the future's bright for Jerome Baker in Cleveland with an Ohio team that a little murky of a future for that franchise. For the Ohio State Buckeyes, they just wrapped up day 4 of spring ball. You'll hear from Ryan Day coming up next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day 1. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Here, heart care helps you heal faster. Advanced, minimally invasive procedures mean less time recovering and more living life. See how we care for all of you at MountCarmelForYou.com.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by 2 things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your 4-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Say goodbye to car care headaches with Carvenience from Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. For only $49, we'll pick up your vehicle, leave you with a rental, and return it fully serviced and spotless. No more juggling your schedule or wasting hours at the shop. Carvenience lets you focus on what matters while we take care of all the rest, making life easier. Schedule your service today at HindererMotorCompany.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
Hey friends, Beamer here. I've got to tell you, losing almost 70 pounds with Awaken 180 has absolutely changed my life. My motivation from the start, it was crystal clear. Get healthy, be more active, and become the dad that I wanted to be. All thanks to Awaken 180, well, that mission has been accomplished and then some. This program didn't just help me drop the weight, it completely reshaped my relationship with food. I've learned so much about nutrition and eating healthier, it just comes naturally now. Everything's easier, whether I'm running around after the little guy, hopping on a plane, middle seat, that's no problem. I've avoided that for years. That's not ideal, but I could do it. Life just seems a little more accessible now. And the best part, hands down, being active with my son. More energetic, more involved, fully present for every moment with my family. Trust me, nothing beats that feeling. And if you're ready to make that kind of a change for your health, your family, and your life, call Awaken 180 today, 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com. Again, that is 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
There's a new way to surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and Market District. Shop Giant Eagle's uncompromising quality at a reliable price with everyday savings. Look for signs throughout the store to find bargains on produce, meat, and more. Visit Giant Eagle to see how easy it is to save.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Reeser Tyvis Baker waiting patiently for the head coach of the football Buckeyes, Ryan Day, to take the podium. Day 4 of spring ball has wrapped up for Ohio State. They've got 10 more practices, including that spring showcase on April 12th. You're going to have the eyes of the NFL on Columbus this coming Wednesday as Ohio State will hold its annual pro day. And then 2 days after that spring showcase, Tyvis, the Buckeyes are going to Washington to meet the president, obviously the vice president being an Ohio State alum and a gigantic Buckeye fan. It'll be fun, I think, to see everybody interact, and one more time of, I think, what are going to be several chances in 2025 to celebrate what was the historic run by the 2024 Buckeyes.
I'm excited for Pro Day because it's a bunch of guys that didn't do anything at the combine. Yep. And I just want to see what their numbers. Not that I'm a big numbers guy, but obviously a lot of scouts are, so I want to see what they do.
Coming your way tonight on The Fan, the Blue Jackets are skating in New York, taking on the Islanders at 7:30. The face-off time. We'll have pregame coverage on The Fan at 7 o'clock. CBJ looked to halt that 6-game slide, and with 13 games remaining, you're, 4-5 points out of a playoff spot. So they isn't must win tonight on the Long Island, but boy, is it getting late early.
No, it's you want to win some of these games. Like, you got to – especially a team that's they're ahead of us, right, by 1 point, right?
Yes, the Islanders are ahead of the Jackets. The Rangers are ahead of the Jackets.
You want to definitely, slow walk this thing, take baby steps, and get that win.
I'm with you, Reese. You heard last week I didn't think Thursday night was a must-win, but I thought Friday was.
Yeah.
I think tonight is a must-win because it's someone that's right in front of you, and you've got to go on a, 6 of 7 7 of 8 type run here to get yourself back in this thing.
Preferably overtime.
I think tonight's a must win.
At least points tonight, because we had Jody Shelley on earlier in the program, and the Jackets will be playing the Canucks on Friday, and so he'll be joining us Friday. But at least getting points in the remainder of these games, at least 10, 11 of the 13 games you got left, collecting points, I think, is paramount.
Tyvis, no overtime, because we don't want them getting any points.
Well,
let's win this thing in regulation.
You got a point there.
Let's go 5-2, no doubt.
That sounds good. Elvis Merzlikins getting the nod in net tonight. Jackets are going to be getting reinforcements. Eric Goodbranson. It'll be a third straight game after taking some time off to welcome his second child. So congratulations to the Merzlikins family there. Elvis, this could be a get-right game.
I'm sure he's going to be inspired to get back out there. I mean, you give up 6 goals. Yeah, you definitely want to get back out there and try to right that wrong, because you know where you are, where this team is trying to get to. So I expect Elvis to be standing on his head tonight.
So let's speak a Blue Jackets win into existence, and then they'll be playing against the Vancouver Canucks. Yeah, it's 4 points out. 71 points the Jackets have currently. The Canadiens, they've got 75. So I think Ottawa's sitting there probably not locked in because nothing's guaranteed, but Ottawa feels pretty comfortable in that first wild card spot. But the Jackets have them twice before the season's up.
No, they have them 3 times before the season's up. So those are huge games.
Yeah. Great opportunity.
The first of those is Saturday night.
You expect them to beat them all 3 times?
I mean, I would sure like that.
That game will be in Ottawa, but the Jackets will be hosting the Canucks Friday night at 7 o'clock. So we talked about the hoops earlier in the program about how the transfer portal is open for the men and for the women. Ohio State right now, just one player, Austin Parks, has officially entered his name, or at least last week he said he was going to. So I have no reason to doubt him.
How long is the window open?
I believe to the end of April 22nd, I want to say, is the day. It's 30 days from today.
So people typically get in earlier because you want to hurry up and try to find a new team. The longer you wait, the least likely it is that you find a new team. So I would expect we should have some answers by at least the end of the week.
It is, though, you want to catch on with someone, but once you're in, you can sign with a new team anytime after that, correct?
Yeah, but
you just have to be in.
You don't want them to go get somebody else
For
and then
sure.
now they don't have a spot for you anymore.
So there'll be a lot of interesting conversations to that point, because as teams start to pick up needs, you've got guys that could fill those needs that are looking, all right, well, now there's an opportunity gone. There's another opportunity gone. It's when do you start to weigh the NIL package against the opportunity to advance and potentially play at an NBA level?
I mean, first of all, some of these guys understand that. I know everybody's aspirations
G League level maybe
to make it to the NBA, but that's not likely. They're probably it's a grind, especially in basketball. It's a grind. It's only 15 spots. Then you got to talk about the G League, 2-way contracts. Then you got people that got to go overseas. So a lot of the times they're going to make a lot of money now, and that's why you see guys coming back for second, third, and fourth years, because they understand this could potentially be all the maximum of my athletic career. So I'm not, take your time. Caleb Love was a guy that I thought was going to be gone after his freshman year. This man is like, what is he, on year 5 now or something like that? So it's whenever you get hot. That's the thing. And in football and in basketball, whenever you get hot, obviously you got to wait 3 years for football, but once you get hot, you got to leave. You just got to go when you're hot. And until then, now you're incentivized to stay.
I think there's one point Caleb Love was connected to Michigan, but because his grades stunk.
Yeah.
I don't think he could have joined the Wolverines.
He ain't there to play school.
I like to do focus groups a lot. I like to do them live on the air because I think it provides the best answers. But 7 upsets in the first round, just 4 in the second round. More March midness than madness this year. Because it's real chalk. Arkansas is the lowest remaining seed. They beat St. John's in the second round, 75-66. Again, just one of 4 upsets, technical upsets, because I'm not looking at BYU over Wisconsin as a terrible upset. Michigan beat Texas A&M. But I think a 5 seed to the Big Ten tournament champion felt way too low.
You don't think that NIL now is going to eliminate a lot of the madness? Because
has the potential to,
what Kevin Willard is talking about with Maryland right now. Like if I don't have money, that means I'm not going to have I'm not going to be able to get those guys in the portal or get those guys in recruiting. So I'm only going to be able to take this team so far. But that's why people are really going to start enjoying those underdog stories, because it's not going to happen often like it did. A lot of this money is going to go to those blue blood programs that's got the money that can pay these guys. So that's why you see the seedings being what it is. Like the lower ranking teams is the ones that's advancing because they got the money to pay these guys.
I think you're right, but I also think that's going to have the opportunity for mid-major teams or teams with guys that have played for a while, veteran teams, kind of like we saw with San Diego State the past couple of years, where you're going to have guys that are going to get left out, and maybe they're going to get at a team with a good fit, and they're going to have an experienced team. I think it's crazy. I think it could go both ways. You could see the blue bloods, which like we've had this year, but then, I think you could see teams where there's some teams that are kind of middle of the road, but they're very experienced and veteran that can knock people off. It's going to be interesting to see the next couple of years.
It'll have to be a team that's like, we played together for like the past 3 years. Like, when none of us decided to leave, we decided to stay because we love each other and love playing with each other. Like, that would help them beat a blue blood team, because obviously that door is always revolving.
For the Sweet 16, you've got 4 Big Ten teams involved, 7 from the Southeastern Conference. So halvesies made it through to the second weekend. Phenomenal matchups, I think, are what await us Thursday and Friday. Auburn, Michigan, Ole Miss, Michigan State, BYU, Alabama, Houston, Purdue, Florida, Maryland. So for you conference honks out there, you're going to get your chance to see who, in fact, is the supreme of the two when it comes to basketball.
If the Big Ten eliminates them SEC schools, ooh-wee.
This sets up to be pretty entertaining, because what we've gotten in years past is Cinderellas make it, and then in the second or third weekends, you don't have great matchups because the Cinderellas kind of that magic's run out. Now you've got big blood programs that can actually make for great basketball games in the coming weeks. We're going to take a break real quick, try to get Ryan Day as soon as he hits the podium, coming up in a couple of minutes. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Easy Cater. It's all the food for your workplace, all in one place. With over 100,000 restaurants nationwide on one platform. Whether you need food for company meetings or events, daily employee lunches, or your next lunch and learn, Easy Cater makes food for work, work. And it doesn't stop at lunch. With Easy Cater, you've got great breakfast options, snacks, treats, and more. Whenever and wherever work happens, Easy Cater's here to make the food happen. Order now at easycater.com.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, 3-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, 2-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to lifesearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit lifesearch.com today.
It's March, and you know what that means. Bracket season. You've crunched the numbers, picked your favorites, and maybe even taken a big gamble on that Cinderella team. But when it comes to your home, gambling is not an option. Spring storms are rolling in, bringing strong winds, heavy rain, and unpredictable weather. The question is your roof ready? At Newman Roofing, we don't leave anything up to chance. Whether you need a new roof, gutter replacement, or updated siding, our expert team is here to educate you, guide you, and give you the best options to fit your home's needs. No high-pressure sales, no surprises, just top-quality work from a team you can trust. That's why homeowners choose Newman Roofing, the #1 overall seed here in Columbus, because we deliver an unbeatable customer experience every single time. So, don't wait until the damage is done. Beat the storm before it ruins your big dance. Call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com to schedule your spot this spring. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Some foot issues just can't be fixed by those expensive shoe stores or shoe inserts. A foot exam from a doctor of podiatric medicine, who is the medical expert in foot and ankle care, may give solutions after doing a complete foot examination. If you suffer from foot, heel, or ankle pain, let us help you find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association so you know you are being treated by the very best. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
If you don't like listening to Morning Juice, Bobby Carpenter's man nipples will punch you in the face. For real.
You want to fight, do you? Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan. They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Ohio State's Ryan Day coming up in moments. He's going to speak after Ohio State wraps up practice number 4 of the spring. You'll have the Pro Day this coming Wednesday. Then Student Appreciation Day will be Saturday, April 5th. The Spring Showcase, Saturday, April 12th. Ohio State's going to Washington to be honored by the president on April 14th. April 16th, the transfer portal opens. Busy as hell.
Wow, so the basketball one and football intertwine.
They will intertwine, yeah. The basketball one opens today. It closes on April 22nd. The one for football is a 30-day window as well, so you'll have to math it after the 16th. I'm not going to be doing that for you. What I will be able to give you, Tyvis, is a magic number for the Cleveland Cavaliers to clinch that 1 seed. It's 7. Going into tomorrow night's matchup in Portland against the Trailblazers. Who said they were worried about the Cavs? Not me.
Yes, you did.
I absolutely did.
Everybody was, and you should have been.
I agree.
Because, like I say, the shooting slump was bad, and we couldn't beat a lot of teams. But what you have to realize is these teams that, outside of Utah, these teams that the Cavs have been playing, all are fighting for their playoff lives. Yep. So they're playing a little bit more desperate than the Cavs are right now. And the Cavs are just trying to polish themselves to get right for the playoffs, obviously, because they've already clinched those things. So you'll see a little bit more fight out of the teams that the Cavs are playing versus the Cavs.
I mean, it feels like they don't need to be polishing anything. They've got to be firing on all cylinders, in my opinion, because you need momentum.
They got to get out of the shooting slump. That's number one.
Yeah.
And guys got to get healthy. I tell you what, watching yesterday, watching Jared Allen have the performance he had, that was great to see, because if you've been paying attention, Jared Allen's been having his right hand messed up. Like he got bandages and whatever.
That's why he sat out minutes, and then he sat out 1 or 2 games on that 4-game road trip they had.
He's been bobbling the ball. He hasn't had a great control over the ball on the rebounds and things like that. But yesterday he had nothing on his hands and he had 18 points. Obviously, I still want him to get more rebounds, but that front court of Filipowski and Kessler, those 2 guys are really good in that paint. They did a great job of getting rebounds. If Utah ever figures out their guard situation, which the Collier kid is okay. He's only going to get assists.
Utah's a bad team, Thomas. They've won 16 games on the season.
Sexton is very streaky.
Utah stinks. The Cavs are supposed to beat them by 30. They did beat them by 30. This was the first in a stretch of games where you needed
to see the vision
to put foot into ass.
You got to see the vision, though. I'm from a Utah standpoint. You got to see the vision.
Their vision of the past 5 seasons just accumulate picks.
Obviously they're not. They're doing decently on their picks.
On getting picks, they're doing
Bryce
decently.
Is starting to come into his own. You know, they said that he showed up to camp kind of with a overweight, and he's cut
Utah
his weight,
has the second best odds to land the number 1 pick. They're a lock for the postseason.
Cooper Flagg.
Well, so that was, some interesting scuttlebutt before the ACC tournament was Cooper Flagg. People were telling him, stay at Duke one more year, especially if the Blue Devils are able to win the national championship. Don't get drafted by Washington, and damn sure don't get drafted by the Utah Jazz.
Well,
Charlotte and Philadelphia are also locks into the top 5 spot. I think New Orleans, the Pelicans at 19 wins.
See, the thing about the draft lottery is you can't just go off of the worst record because them ping pong balls is.
Well, I guess I'm just saying the best odds to land the number 1 pick.
Yeah,
right. They're locked into a top 5 spot, but
the Washington is not going. I can see it to where Washington is not going to get the number 1 pick, and they're going to be like, "Well, why did we just tank the season like that?" I don't like the fact that they do a lottery.
The Wizards tank the season. They're bad.
Yeah,
they're just terrible.
They're not good.
Like some teams don't go into the season thinking they're tanking. Some teams go in with a terrible roster, shoddy coaching, and
you know how they do the
land in that spot.
You know how on social media you see the thing where once a team is mathematically eliminated, they put the post and say eliminated.
Yeah,
they should have did that as soon as the season.
As soon as the season began, like game 1,
done.
Like the Sixers, it felt like went into a little bit of a tank mode.
No, they are
right.
They are.
So they're a team that makes sense to do.
They got some decisions to make.
Maybe even Toronto at this point. Like you're feeling yourself just try to get the best pick that you can. And if
Toronto seems like they still trying to fight to get in.
Tyvis, they're 24-47.
What's the 10th seed?
That's a very good question.
Because they're not that far off.
That's pathetic.
Yeah, the East is not that great.
If Toronto at 24-47 is a couple games, they're 33 games back of the Cavs, but the Heat are 30-41. So the Raptors are 6 games back of the Heat for that final play-in game spot. Raptors ain't making it, bud.
It's a tall, but they say the Heat been trying to tank. That's the funny part.
Yeah.
If you've watched the way
30-41, I have not seen a minute of Miami Heat basketball.
They've been blowing fourth quarter leagues.
I guess if I wanted to watch the Heat, good news, they're playing the Warriors tomorrow night at 7:30 on TNT. So the most entertaining part of that game will be Chuck and Shaq crapping on the Heat. If, in fact, at halftime they're slogging through this. Charles Barkley has, I think, been better this year with his analysis of the college basketball game, because I think, he's been called out in recent years of just, you don't watch any of this before you get on a Turner broadcast and try to pontificate about college basketball. Like, I can still hear it in Clark Kellogg's voice, how he's just kind of annoyed with some of the things that Charles Barkley does, but he's brought on in a different role than Clark, in a different role than Kenny.
You don't think Charles Barkley watches college basketball?
Not a minute of it before March. He's watching, he's got a lot.
Well, he's busy.
He is busy.
He's doing NBA, so it's fair. But if you know that they're going to bring you up for college basketball, you should probably, tune in to a couple of things.
I did like how Geico is doing the older ads during this, like the Peggy go wee all the way home. It's annoying as hell, but it entertains the hell out of me.
Well, you got to find ways to keep people locked in.
It really is an annoying.
It's so annoying.
It's so bad.
Chuck GPT has been one of the winners in terms of commercials for March Madness.
Yes,
hey, Chuck GPT goes Chuck IRL.
Yeah.
I like how they lean into it.
You've seen that they switched the music up, Lady Gaga.
Oh, there's still a lot of Lady Gaga.
Well,
there's way too much Lady Gaga.
The song
in this
must be
tournament.
really
It's
popular.
one song.
It's really popular.
Well, you were telling me on Saturday that on the Spotify charts, it's like 17th.
Did I say that?
That's what you said.
I thought I said like 50.
On the Spotify charts. I don't check the other ones, and they don't play a lot of it. They just play the abracadabra and ooh la la, and it trails after that.
Tyvis, did you look this up, or did you hear from somebody who heard from somebody?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're bad at the telephone game. That's what we learned this week.
It's currently 24.
24th on the charts. Like, don't you have access? And I know you do, because I think I texted you when they went into coverage. They had Squabble Up by Kendrick Lamar playing. I'm like, I know they have access to other songs. Let's do more than Lady Gaga. So please, Tegna's our employer. CBS, I guess, would be Paramount. Have other music playing when you do your Sweet 16. You obviously have the da-na-na-na-na-na-na, but maybe some other bumps, Please?
Well, we'll see. You should write them a letter.
Phil
Send an
says
email.
Phil says in the YouTube chat, you guys don't get to complain about annoying commercials until you hear a bunch during a show. I hear them all.
They don't pay us, though.
Yeah.
Wait.
Hey, by the way, you can't have other bumps. Come on now. That's iconic.
No. I guess, all right, I phrased that poorly. You can have the iconic CBS March Madness music, but when they go to commercial, they're playing a ton of Lady Gaga. Have someone else, have other artists play.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think it should just be the March Madness music all the time.
Fine by me.
You can't overdo that. You know?
I don't think there's such a thing as overdoing that. And Round Ball Rock, I don't know if you can overdo it. We love those songs so much.
It's 3 weekends, Tyvis. We'll be okay.
I'm also wondering, with Lady Gaga's new album, which I know is the method to their madness, they're trying to promote that.
Yes.
My guess is her recording, whoever owns the rights to the music, is paying Paramount a good chunk of change to do this. There's somebody else out there that's giving you money to play their artist.
That's what the world we live in the music industry.
Speaking of sounds, by the way, so I'm in here listening, trying to see when Ryan Day is hitting the podium. And you can hear everybody, all the people that are there covering this. You can hear them all talking, and then all of a sudden it gets quiet. And usually that means somebody's coming. So I'm like, oh, here we go. And I'm like, and then it's nothing. And then they all start talking again. And then they all get quiet. And, I'm sure he is. I can see Dave Biddle's head right now on the stream.
And Biddle will be on with us tomorrow at 9:30. It was quite the weekend for him because he was at the Hollywood Casino Columbus Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And now he's at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center covering Ohio State spring practice.
He loves to work.
Does.
You don't see him taking PTO in off days. Love a guy like that.
I don't know that's true. I'll have to ask him at 9:30.
Well,
I'll make a comment.
Please do.
Ask Dave about PTO because he doesn't have PTO here with us. But my guess is CBS Sports or 24/7 Sports, Bucknuts, gives him time off to spend with his family.
It rolls over.
He's taking a PTO day next Wednesday because him and Scotty are all going to the Reds game.
Do you approve of his use of PTO there, Tyvis Powell?
What time is the Reds game?
It's a businessman special, 12:30 in the afternoon. We'll probably be at the Holy Grail no later than 10.
That's the best time for baseball games. Yeah, you got opening day on Thursday.
Yeah.
Reds are going to be hosting the Giants. That game we will have for you on ESPN Columbus. It's a 4:10 first pitch. Hunter Green opposite Logan Webb. For the Giants. So if you're looking for Reds baseball this coming Thursday, 4:10
in that game.
ESPN Columbus.
The home of America's team, the Fan, and ESPN Columbus.
Let's rephrase that. The home of a team in America. 97.1 The Fan and ESPN
Columbus. Don't even have Captain America anymore.
I know. That hurt my heart a little bit. I like Singer, but that hurt my heart.
Ellie De La Cruz.
Gosh. He's going to look so good in Dodger blue in a couple years.
You think
he's a Boras client?
He's going to do the Jose Ramirez.
I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry, Scott Boras.
He's going to do the Jose Ramirez and take a pay cut because he loves Cincinnati.
He's a Scott Boras client. He's not taking
don't tease me like that.
Anything close to a hometown discount.
Yeah, it's hope, man.
Although I did say for the longest time the Bengals weren't going to be able to find the pie for Jamar and T. Can the Castellinis find the pie for?
They better.
Ellie De La Cruz?
They bet.
I mean, they're in food service. They're in food service.
You can't let this just walk.
I agree with you.
Like he is must see TV.
Yes.
Like I'm still,
or must listen to radio as you can on ESPN Columbus Thursday.
Look at that. So yeah, you have to keep him there. Do it for the sake of the fan.
All right, we're back in 2 minutes. Maybe with Ryan Day. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
1-877 Cars for Kids.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.
Call Mr. Rooter. He'll be there quick.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall, and it is my time of year. And when it comes to college basketball in March, one thing is for sure, nothing's for sure. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderella's advancing, top seeds going home early. It's all going to happen, so bet the unexpected. Every upset every day with DraftKings Sportsbook. Live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays. DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination in March. First time, here's something special. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code TheFan971. That's code TheFan971 for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Ohio only. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
You know what? At this point, just don't speak until noon. Give Rothman and Ice the hour off as you roll from Ryan Day to Brian Hartline to Matt Patricia, or Ryan Day to Matt Patricia to Brian Hartline. But you'll have the three men in charge of an Ohio State national championship defense coming your way sometime in the next hour. Day is supposed to speak to start everything. Again, Ohio State just wrapping up day 4 of their spring practices, which leaves 10 on the table until you break for fall camp. What gets done more, I think, in the next couple of days? Football learning or install?
Install. You get an install every day. I think that for this team, I think this first week, especially when you have
they're not doing tackling and they're not doing fundamentals.
Yeah, you always teach that.
Okay.
Yeah, you better.
I've never done it before. So.
Oh, excuse me. I apologize.
You're the expert.
Yes. The first 2 days is no pads, but yet you still want to introduce tackling from a defensive standpoint. You still want to do a lot of fundamental work. As you get deeper into spring ball, the individual stuff starts to cut down more and becomes more team emphasized. And then you have winner loser day. For when Urban was there, every Saturday or every other day was like winner loser day. So there were always a drill where you're competing. So it could be goal line tackle. It could be one-on-ones. It could be stalk blocking. Now, these are the drills that people get up for. That stalk blocking drill. That stalk block drill got real. The goal line tackle got even realer. So you have those type of things that happens. Obviously, it's offense versus defense. Whoever loses those things have to run gassers after practice. So it's always big there. That's what you get more into as these things goes on. But as far as an install, you get an install every single day because Matt Patricia and Brian Hartline is trying to get them to understand how we're going to do things once the fall hits. So when fall hits, it's their second time hearing it, so they should be able to pick it up faster and be able to move along. You know, obviously with Matt Patricia, he's starting from scratch because it's his own spin on the thing that he's putting in there. Brian Hartline is kind of building off of the things that they already know. So Matt Patricia is learning what he has. That's what those first couple of days was. Learn how these guys move. See them in pads. See what they're able to do in there. Then you start to create, all right, this is how we want to do it. This is our base defense. This is the things that we're going to run here. And as it goes on, now you're introducing the nickel package. Now you're introducing fire zones, which is blitzes, different coverages in the back end. You want to see what these guys are able to handle. If I can mix and match. Can I run a cover 6 where it's cover 2 on one side and cover 4 on the other side? Can they handle those things? Do they communicate well? These are the things that Matt Patricia is trying to figure out right now. So when he gets to the fall, he's able to be like, all right, I know they can handle this. Boom, boom. This is the playbook that we're running with, and we're taking off running.
I remember back to when we were at Ohio State's fall camp, and we were talking to Donovan Jackson and Cody Simon and asking them, like, at what point are you guys ready to hit somebody else? And both times when I asked them those questions, big smile came across their face. It's you're excited to hit now because you haven't hit in a long time. Yeah. Well, I don't even know if that's a true statement. Some of these guys haven't hit in a long time. Some of these guys, they were hitting 2 months ago.
Yeah. The hitting part is the first day of pads is always exciting.
So much energy.
But what people got to understand is when you're a professional, like when you're a pro, because Ohio State runs their things like a pro. whether you're in pads or whether you're not in pads, it's the same. You literally practice the same. The only difference is for the offense and defensive line. That's where the big difference is where pads come on. But for linebackers, it's not like I'm running through the hole and blasting the running back. It's not like the running back's coming through trying to run the linebacker. They don't do that. Like it's a tag off or it's a nice little thud to be like, all right, I got you. Then you let them run. And then guys in the secondaries punching at the ball. It's the same thing whether there's pads or no pads. But when you get interested to doing full game speed where you want to hit guys, you get those scrimmage days where they'll say, we going to the ground. This is a live scrimmage, so we bringing them to the ground. So you get that maybe twice in fall camp, but outside of that, it's all just taking care of each other. Because the worst thing you could do is run in there, blast somebody, and then put them out for the season, and now that you missing that guy that you need. So you have to be very smart with that, and that's why guys are like, I'm tired of doing this thud stuff. Now I'm ready to go up against somebody else where I don't have to question whether or not I need to slow down or not.
That's why I wonder, you never wish injury on anybody, but if there were to be a catastrophic, injury that takes place in camp, does that at all affect what they do for the spring showcase?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody goes down.
Like somebody serious goes down.
Cancel Christmas.
Changes everything, right?
707.
I got to issue a note from the Department of Corrections. I had said earlier in the program that the portal was open for both the men and the women in college hoops. It is not for the women. The transfer portal, the official verbiage was the portal window opens after the second round of the NCAA tournament is concluded, while the women are still playing the second round today. You got a game at noon, Michigan State and NC State. So I saw that they're doing the pregame of it right now, and I was like, whoops, I got that wrong. But for the men, portal is open. Adam Jody over at the Dispatch has a great write-up on some of the players who have announced their intentions to transfer and say Ohio State should or is in terms of, hey, come to Columbus, bring your talents here, help out with Team 127 so they can break that streak of making the NCAA tournament. I had said, and I'll continue to say, that it's not the amount of money for me. Like, I think Ohio State has enough money to make legitimate runs at everybody in the transfer portal.
Yes.
It's just the evaluation and the allocation needs to be much better than it was last year.
Well, if you're going to give somebody a top dollar, you better know that this guy's going to come in and be what you need. It ain't no maybe. He's got potential.
Yeah.
Like, it can't. No. We going to give you the money. You have to be that guy.
And that's the fine line that I think Jake Diebler and company are walking because, Michi was, I think, a no-brainer at the time when you bring him back from South Carolina. Aaron Bradshaw.
You hadn't seen much of him.
Was a big if.
Yeah. Him and Sean Stewart. Neither one of them really played a lot at the blue blood spot. And now you were like, there's a reason for
Sean Stewart was at Duke, wasn't he?
Yes.
Because you had...
He jumps out, and he can jump out. I think they said he broke like Zion's jumping record or whatever it is.
So I understand why they made big swings for those two players, but when you make the point of there wasn't a ton of contributions from them in their first years with those blue bloods, and I look to Bradshaw and just the issues that were discussed about off the court and then sort of manifested themselves at the beginning of the season, I look to go, what, you didn't know this was in the brochure?
Yeah.
Come on.
Like I said,
you had Felix Okpara, and from everything that I've read, there was some issues, and then the Bradshaw acquisition was the final straw that sent him into the portal, and now he's in the Sweet 16 with Tennessee.
I think that when you look at what happened, you looked at, okay, you fell in love with where they were from. What schools did they come from? So you're like, oh, this must have been a top recruit. Kentucky wanted him. Duke
and he was, and same with Stewart.
So but then you didn't look at, like, how do they fit? How do they play? What is the style of play that I'm trying to do? Do these guys fit with the style of play that I'm trying to do? And obviously the answer was no.
Yeah.
And you can't make that type of mistake. So instead of looking at where they came from, you can go find a guy in a lower tier school. But if that guy is a knockdown shooter, or that guy's a great rebounder or a great defender, like you can utilize those things. So don't pay attention to where they're from. Pay attention to what they did on the floor.
And so when I look, again, Adam Jardy, friend of the program at the Dispatch, has a list of players, that have already entered their name in the transfer portal. When Fran McCaffrey gets dismissed by Iowa, all of a sudden Hawkeye players have 30 days. From that point, it's made official. And so Owen Freeman is a big fish that I don't necessarily know if Ohio State's going to say he was going to release a top 3 and someone did a fun graphic for him if Ohio State makes that. But 6'10", 230 pounds. Now, he missed most of the season. He was dealing with a finger injury, but he averaged 12.8 points and 6.7 rebounds with the Hawkeyes. Jody says Ohio State's one of many schools involved.
Yeah.
Maybe land this big fish, and maybe that would cost you more than you're thinking to allocate towards a center, but that's your biggest need.
But you got to let this thing play out because you don't know who's staying.
I don't know if you have time to let this thing play out.
No, I'm saying you don't know who's staying and who's going either.
You don't think they have a good ideas at this point? I mean, it's been more than a week.
Well, I think in today's college athletics, it is the most realest conversation you ever have to have with people. Like because you're playing with kids' lives here. You can't sit there and sell them a dream and then go back on your word. So like you can't say, yeah, you are in our plans. We're going to use you in the future. Like. And the kid decided to stay, you never use them. Like that's messed up. So you can't do those things. If the kid realizes, like, I'm not going to play here, and you say, like, yeah, we love you, we want to use you, but yet I'm running with the threes. Like, come on now. Like, the kid's got to do what's best for him because he still is trying to make it to the next level. So it's tough conversations that you have to have between a coach and a player, but you have to be honest with them today.
Xavier players are dealing with the same thing. Sean Miller is now the 5th coach for Texas in 10 years. Last decade, they've gone through 5. Now, Sean Miller leaves Xavier again for a big-time opportunity. I know X-fans were in their feelings, kind of understandably so.
Yeah.
You kind of thought this would be the last time for Sean, but everybody's got a price here, and it felt like Texas was ready very quickly to move off of Rodney Terry. I think Chris Beard, Shaka Smart, Rick Barnes, if I'm doing the 5 coaches for Texas bingo correctly.
At least they're trying to get it right.
They're
swinging.
They're swinging at the biggest names. You know, Barnes is now at Tennessee. I don't know where Shaka landed. Did he land at Marquette?
He's in Marquette.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they also were in the NCAA tournament. So, yeah.
And I mean, Texas's defense, I feel like they thought they had the coach in Chris Beard, and then they had to let go of him because of issues off the court. Yeah.
And as a coach, obviously, with Ole Miss now in the Sweet 16.
I was about to say, everybody's thriving.
They're all moving in the tournament. For Texas, it'll be interesting to see now what happens with Xavier's roster.
So maybe Texas is the problem.
I don't know, man. I do not know.
It's a common denominator right now.
Also, a couple other programs. Will Wade from McNeese is going to NC State. Darian DeVries from West Virginia did 1 year in Morgantown, and now he's going to Bloomington. Tucker DeVries likely putting his name into the portal officially. If he hasn't done it already, he'll do it in a day or so. To go with his dad to Bloomington. And then Richard Pitino from New Mexico, one of the favorites to land the open Villanova job. Which, if I'm the Wildcats, I'm still having conversations with Kevin Willard because he, in no uncertain terms, is saying he's going to stick with College Park, especially after the Terrapins just lost their athletic director to SMU. Like, Villanova can probably, to your point about the portal, maybe play the waiting game here.
Tell them, listen, we got this money for you to come sign, and we got this portal money for you.
He even said it in his press conference either in the last week or so that they lost a kid to Villanova because Maryland wasn't willing to put forth the NIL money.
He can get the kid back.
He can coach the kid that they wanted. I don't know if he's still there. I have to look, but you don't know, but you'd think Villanova
got money
and the willingness to spend it.
Villanova is a blue blood of college basketball.
I agree.
So they're going to do whatever they need to do to stay in that conversation. To where Maryland, they're good sometimes, they're not good sometimes. They're in the upper end of the Big Ten, but they're, talk about making a run for the championship. I don't think people are saying that about Maryland, but you definitely will say that about Villanova.
And there again, Maryland, one of 4 teams from the Big Ten into the Sweet 16. We are going to do 3 things coming up next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
With Amazon Business, smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
This Ohio State football spring practice report is brought to you locally on The Fan by Roosters and by your Ohio Kubota dealers.
Ohio State football spring practice report.
As we saw one season ago, Ohio State head coach Ryan Day gave up some of the play calling duties. As spring ball continues for Ohio State, here's Day's plans for this season.
Still going to be involved, just like I was last year. I'm still going to kind of make sure that, we're all on the same page. Having Tyler there was important. But I think to your point, I'm still going to be involved with the offense, but I'm able to kind of bounce into the defense. But the more times that we have guys who are experienced and veteran, on that side of the ball, if I'm going to stay on offense, it certainly helps. I think taking the play calling away last year was really important. I want to continue to do that and surround myself with guys who, we can hire to do jobs, and I'm able to take a step back and take a little bit of a different role. I think it helped this season, and I'd like to do that even more as we move forward.
This report was brought to you by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center and by Weber Grills. I'm Matt Andrews on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Imagine a tailgate. The heat of the flame, the sizzle of the burger, the squeeze of the ketchup. Grilling is essential to tailgating as the game itself. Weber Grills are there in the hours, minutes, and even seconds before kickoff. Before the best damn band in the land plays the battle cry, signaling it's time to take the field. Weber is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. This season, Weber created an officially licensed limited edition Ohio State grill inspired by the iconic Buckeye helmets. Find the best damn grill in the land at local Ohio retailers.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Cover more ground with the fast, durable Kubota Sidekick, featuring a gas-powered engine that delivers a top speed of 40 miles per hour, best-in-class acceleration and handling with cargo, and the strength to haul what needs hauling. All backed by a 2-year, 1,000-hour warranty. Get more done right with the Kubota Sidekick. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com to find a dealer near you.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Easy Cater. It's all the food for your workplace, all in one place. With over 100,000 restaurants nationwide on one platform. Whether you need food for company meetings or events, daily employee lunches, or your next lunch and learn, Easy Cater makes food for work, work. And it doesn't stop at lunch. With Easy Cater, you've got great breakfast options, snacks, treats, and more. Whenever and wherever work happens, Easy Cater is here to make the food happen. Order now at easycater.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, or whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
Yes, it is. Still waiting for Ryan Day, for Brian Hartline, for Matt Patricia. They will speak sometime today. And when they do, we'll have some of that for you on The Fan. We just now can't guarantee a time as they're still waiting over at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. But when you're the national champion, people wait for you. You're not waiting on anybody.
He's earned that, right?
We'll have the comments, of course, when the coach takes the podium. The Daily Fan Poll, sponsored by Caster Connection, asks which conference will win the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC are your four, as there are 4 Big 12 teams remaining. There are 1 ACC team remaining. That's why the Blue Devils are getting 23% of respondents. The SEC's got the most at 7%, and so they're 51.9% of respondents to the Daily Fan Poll sponsored by Caster Connection. The Big Ten's got 4%, 18% of respondents there. Who you got, Tyvus?
Neither.
What?
None of them.
Who's going to win the championship?
Between
any of the teams remaining of the Sweet 16. No conference is going to be represented?
I want to say Tennessee because I picked Tennessee.
Okay. So the SEC?
But I don't want that's
Oh, you don't want Tennessee?
Yeah.
Well, this is the fan poll isn't really asking who you'd like.
Which conference?
Which conference is going to? Where's that representative from?
Big Ten.
I guess, are you rooting for the conference over everything? It's tough. It's tough because the 4 teams in the conference, I don't necessarily root for any. I don't root for the 3 of the 4 ever. I don't have an opinion about Maryland. The Kevin Willard stuff's been fascinating to me, but I don't root for Purdue. I don't root for Michigan. I don't root for Michigan State. So
this is
give me the Duke Blue Devils.
I as much as I hate Michigan,
give me the
State,
ACC.
I actually like Tom Izzo.
I have respect for Tom Izzo.
Yeah. Like I've had a conversation with him before, so I was like, oh, you know what? He's a pretty good guy, man. I like him. But
that's right. He did join you guys from East Lansing.
Yeah.
When you were there with the Big Ten Network.
Yep. I was like, he's a really cool guy. If they win it, it wouldn't make me upset.
Well, they're the last Big Ten team to do so. I think the conference, your employer, the Big Ten Network, claims Maryland's title. Nobody else claims Maryland's title for the Big Ten. They claim the Michigan State one back in 2001. Been a long time.
I don't think they got enough. What it take? They ain't got enough offensive power to me to win it all.
Well, it's just kind of about getting hot, right?
Yeah, I guess you got a point
and
there.
They,
anything can happen.
Right. This sets up for, I think, a really good Sweet 16 and an even better, more competitive, more blue blood, kind of what you want Elite Eight.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
First thing for me, and this might dissolve into a conversation, but I have written here from last week, because I take notes and I carry them over sometimes week to week. But Baker, did you say you've never used facilities on an airplane?
I have never done that, no.
What? Like you ain't never used the bathroom on the airplane?
Never, not once.
That's my first thing. Why?
You go before you get on the plane?
I go before, and then I, just hold it. It's all good. We're all right.
So,
but what's the longest flight you've taken?
That's what I want to know.
Whatever the flight to Vegas or Phoenix is, 4.5 hours.
In that time, you didn't have to use the restroom once?
I was good. We're all right.
Now, to be fair, I probably wouldn't use the bathroom either, but there's been times where
nature's never called 30,000 feet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've used the bathroom. Okay. I'm not him. I've used the bathroom. I've done my fair share of planes, but I was on big ones like what's they 757?
The big planes for Tyvus.
Are you flexing now?
Well, first class, big plane.
No, when you win a national championship, when you win a national championship and you go to the national championship, they treat you well at Ohio State.
They should.
So
you're national champion.
They should. Yeah, I've just never had to. I don't know. It's not that big a deal to me. I can hold it.
It's an incredible accomplishment if you're able to go to the grave with that.
Number one for me is after we get out here, which I gotta be soon. I have to go pick my dog.
Not having a good time with us.
Because
I can't wait till this thing's over.
Before I left. Like I had to drop my dog off to get groomed, and my wife texted me and said that he's ready. But that was like maybe 30 minutes ago.
Yep.
And it's gonna take me like 30 minutes to get him. So like I don't know if they charge a holding fee, but I'm trying to avoid those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't pay extra for that.
My point exactly.
My first thing, again, congratulations to Olentangy Orange in Westerville North, who won state basketball titles this weekend. These weekends are always a fun time, but it's a lot of work. It's great to catch up with some some colleagues that you don't see all the time and get to hang out with them and trade business stories. It's also fun to see some of the performances. We talked about Gator Nichols earlier. Quan Kwasniak for Cornerstone Christian, who broke Jake Diebler's all-time state scoring record this year, put on a heck of a performance in a losing effort. He scored 38 points. He had about a 30-second 30-second reel at the end of the first half that was just amazing, where he hit like 2 40-foot threes and a falling down three from the wing. I reposted a clip of that on Twitter, so go check that out. Shaken Baker 971. It is just amazing. It's one of the best 30 seconds I've ever seen of a player.
You got to be able to. These kids today shooting from the logo in high school. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like, as soon as you can pick up a basketball, you're going to the end of your driveway and you're putting the ball, you're heaving it as far as you can.
What happened to the fundamentals?
That's not fun.
It is. That's poor Bo.
Second thing for me, they're gonna need to shoot. Second thing for me, NHL's talking about expansion. It's looking like in the next 2 years, you're going to get Houston and Atlanta for like the third time. And I know the National Hockey League is going to get $1.5 billion for the expansion fees for both of those teams and potentially more. But boy, would that water down the product so much if you had 34 teams in the NHL and then 35 and then 36. Like, they've tried Atlanta. This will be the third time. That city does not need the NHL. They do not want the NHL. Stop trying to make it a thing.
Make the Cleveland Monsters.
Nope. You don't need more NHL teams because, to your point, the AHL's got good talent, but they don't need to be spread out even more thin.
Yeah, you got a point there. Number 2 for me, we are having fillets tonight, and I think I'm going to go out and attempt to grill my own fillet. Now, I've never done this before.
I got you.
So I need what is
I'll tell you what to do when we get off the air.
Is it? Do you actually know what you're doing?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay, you consider yourself a grill master
on steaks. I've researched it a lot.
Like fillets.
Yes.
Are you a ribeye guy or fillet?
I am a ribeye guy.
We've had this conversation.
I've got you. Trust me.
I appreciate you.
My second thing, yesterday morning, Tyler, our head of digital, and I went over to the Blue Jackets, to Nationwide Arena, before practice, and we did some cool interviews with a few of the players, so make sure you're checking out the fan socials to see some of this cool stuff with a few of the Jackets players here in the next few weeks.
Final thing for me, and if you're wondering, like, where the heck's Ryan Day been, that's a question we all have, but fret not. When he does hit the podium, we will have him for you, whether it's now in the next 10 minutes. Rothman and Ice will have you from noon to 3. Although I want to say, if you were to wait till 3 o'clock, there's no way in hell the common man's going to be like, you know what? No, Mike would do his show rather than have, he's off.
He's off this week.
That's right.
So it'd be Tim and I think
Ryan Day will be on sometime.
They would do the bullwhip at least throughout.
Yeah, but if Mike were here, there's no way he would give up airtime. Not even for the national champion head coach.
But it's Ryan Day.
I know who it is.
Yeah, that's his own fault. Last thing for me is I am hungry. Do you think it'd be wrong if I decide to get something to eat before I pick up my dog?
No. Well, unless, again, you're running short of that window of pickup.
The last time I said this, I said I was between Panda Express and Chipotle. Didn't get neither.
Just get a little extra for the dog.
Yeah, just pick up some once you pick up the dog.
He's like car shy. Like, he's incredibly anxious in the car.
Well, a cheeseburger will help that.
That's true.
He's not going to eat it. He doesn't want nothing to do with anything when that vehicle's moving. I'm just telling you. It's a lot of panting going on. So I need to get him to go home.
Last thing for me, Rothman and Ice coming up today. Spencer Holbrick of Letterman Row at 2:30. Maybe if Ryan Day is done speaking by then.
We will definitely be on with you tomorrow, 9 to noon. You're going to have Baker and I. Tyvis Powell, I believe you are a 3 to 6er this week or a 6 to 8er.
I will be 3 to 6 Wednesday and Friday.
Looking forward to that. Rothman and Ice coming up next. Bishop and Friends back tomorrow at 9 on The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Buy 5, save 5 deals are back at Meijer. Buy 5 or more and save $5 or more when you mix or match on items like Dannon Light and Fit Greek Yogurt 4-packs, 5-pound bags of Halo Mandarin Oranges, assorted varieties of Kraft cheese, and select 12-packs of Coca-Cola and Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable. Saving money during the Meijer Buy 5, Save 5 sale makes grocery shopping a good deal better. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Colin Man and T-Bone here for the ESPN Bet Sports Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Bone, did you know that March has a lot of college basketball?
Why, yes, I did, Common Man. And the best place to watch all the action and play the action is at Hollywood Casino. You can reserve your table now at HollywoodColumbus.com.
Not only that, every Saturday in March is UFC Fight Night. They're showing every fight on the big screen. Watching at home is boring. Don't be boring.
All the action happens at ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every .365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
Hey friends, Beamer here. I've got to tell you, losing almost 70 pounds with Awaken 180 has absolutely changed my life. My motivation from the start, it was crystal clear. Get healthy, be more active, and become the dad that I wanted to be. All thanks to Awaken 180, well, that mission has been accomplished and then some. This program didn't just help me drop the weight, it completely reshaped my relationship with food. I've learned so much about nutrition and eating healthier, it just comes naturally now. Everything's easier, whether I'm running around after the little guy, hopping on a plane, middle seat, that's no problem. I've avoided that for years. That's not ideal, but I could do it. Life just seems a little more accessible now. And the best part, hands down, being active with my son. More energetic, more involved, fully present for every moment with my family. Trust me, nothing beats that feeling. And if you're ready to make that kind of a change for your health, your family, and your life, call Awaken 180 today, 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com. Again, that is 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
When was the last time you had your plumbing inspected? Small issues such as tiny leaks or old water heaters can quickly turn into big problems if they're not caught early. Take action with Logan Services and schedule a free winter plumbing safety inspection to help keep your home running smoothly. Schedule your free inspection now and experience the fast, friendly service you've come to expect from Logan Services.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates